Hype me up. Hype me up. Hype me up. Happy Saturday. We are here on a Saturday, child. And it is a special broadcast because I have some special people joining me today. But in the meantime, until we get there, if you are returning to the channel, then you know what it is. Give me about 6.5 minutes, maybe 7. Let this notification thing do what it does. You know, YouTube is iffy. I know a lot of y'all are in the replay though. So if you are in the replay, when you come on in, just go ahead and skip ahead. If you are in the chat or in the bushes, just give us a few minutes, kick back and relax. We're going to talk about this Tory Lanez situation, Tory versus Megan. Now, the three of us that are coming on, Mitson, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is it Okada or Okada? Mitson O, okay, psychologist, okay. And I have Afi Patterson Esquire, the Black Letter Law attorney, joining us as well. And we were at the trial, okay? So we have firsthand recollection of some things. And we're just studied up. So I look forward to this broadcast. And I'm so excited. And so, yeah, just give us a minute. And we're going to be right back.
And I know that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I'm the one, not the two. You can't shit on me. So many sacrifices, I can never quit on me. On me. Need my daily affirmations. Put that shit on me. On who? On me. Need my daily affirmations. I wake up in the morning, say this shit to myself.
Now, y'all know I got to throw my son on today. I told y'all he's too talented. I haven't been playing his music. PJ Corleone with a K. Let's see what we got today. I'll do a song he's featured on. It's a little mellow.
You say that I'm the only one that you want, that I'm all you need to get by. And you know that you're the only one for me, that you're all I need to fly. But we get complicated, we sometimes get jaded, we fight like we hate our love. Then we make up like we're teenage dreams, all night like we're distinct team. Make up or we make up. Loving you ain't easy, baby. Loving you ain't hard. You're the star. Love the way I need you, baby. How'd we get this far? You're the star. Isn't this shit ridiculous? How you taking miles when I give an inch? Just make it worth my while. I ain't giving in. Forgive me for my sins. Repenting, hoping she'll let me in. Live like I was him, wish you had met me then. All these endless arguments, you should just let me win. But you're in charge of this. I wouldn't beg to diff. Heading better is better. Would you recommend? I'm a fool, mama, and I love it every time you in the mood. I'ma take you to the room, do the things we do, kinda turn you on, man. I don't mean to be rude, mama. I'm just playing the position for me on stage, the one they just paid admission to see. You're the star of my heart, picture ain't missing a beat. You want to learn about love? Well, sit down and listen to King. Loving you ain't easy, baby. Loving you ain't. I need you, baby. We get this far. You're the star. I can't leave. Want to stay, still be free once more in the big hallway. Pushing out, seeking hope, fighting down
You're the star.
Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Can I roll?
Can I go?
Can I go?
Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Can I roll?
Say, can I go?
Can I go?
Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Can I roll?
Say, can I go?
Can I go?
Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Can I roll?
Say, can I go?
Say, can I go?
Can I ride?
Say, can I ride?
Can I slide?
Say, can I slide?
Can I roll?
Say, can I roll?
Say, can I go?
Can I go?
Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Say, can I roll?
Can I
You wanna roll? Can you roll the weed while I drive? Overlook all my tendencies and always look at me in the eyes. I'm not yours, but if you're not mine, then don't get inside. That's a waste of time. Life is too short and we don't got much. So the most is what I make of mine. Might flood the niggas and do shit different. One thing won't change and that's the vision. Still walk in rooms and grab attention. Still make dudes mad at who they isn't. Walk in my shoes is not a picnic, but you would get it if you'd have listened. The rooms are spinning, always closing, the windows tinted. My view was shifted. I'm too lifted. I should have lifted. I took a Uber, but instead I whipped it. Someone told me life's what you make it. So make sure you make good decisions. I ain't even got $1 on you, spend it all trying to look good for bitches. Something's missing, something's backwards. We're the fathers, the kids are bastards. We feel abandoned, not by a random, but by a parent, and never share it. So we hold it, and niggas carry till it gets heavy, and niggas bury. So can I go? Can I ride?
Can I ride?
Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Can I roll?
Can I go?
Can I go?
Can I ride? Can I slide?
Can I slide?
Can I roll?
Yeah, baby. Can I roll?
Can I roll?
All right.
Can I go? Can I ride?
Let's get into some things. Mitson Okada.
Can I go? Can I ride?
Yeah, Mitson Okada is coming, and as is AFI Esquire,
Can I go?
AFI Patterson Esquire, aka the Black Letter Law. I'm gonna add you in a second, Mitz. Let me do my official intro. Peace, world, peace. Welcome or welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks. I am Goddess Dawn, aka the $1 trillion goddess, aka the queen of info, honey. Get into it. It is a mindset, a frequency, and a vibe. I'm always talking about vibes and frequencies because it's so important. It's important to keep your vibe up. Okay. Keep your frequency up so you can attract the proper things in this world. All right. So yeah, we're talking about Tory Lanez. Mitson, I'm gonna add you to the stage. Let me take this picture down. Hey, Mitson.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
I don't
okay?
hear Mitson.
Oh.
You there, baby girl?
I'm here. I don't know why you can't hear me.
Oh shoot! Let me say hi to the chat real quick. The chosen ones. I see you. So Mitten, obviously you are here. Love Queen, I'm so glad you're here. I'm gonna be dropping the link too in case anybody wants to come up and share insight, views, opinion, feelings, whatever with regard to this topic. Happy Saturday, definitely. Wow, Wayne, of course, and always thank you for being here, being my right hand child. Thank you for dropping that Cash App. Pacer is not free, as I always say. Season Sagittarius dropped in. Hey, love. Yeah, sending love always. My Ohio Queen, Michelle, in the building. What's going on, mama? Who else? UK Faye. Thank you for the bells. Welcome back. Miss Sunshine to you. So good to see you. Good evening to you. I know it's probably late for some of y'all. Now, Midson, I don't know if it's me or because I don't hear anything.
Yes. Can you hear me at
Let me
all?
check my settings real quick. Everything looks okay on my end. So I don't know. Oh, let me see. You're chatting with me. Yeah, your mic looks fine. Yeah, you can leave and come back. Maybe that'll help. I'm not sure. But yeah, try that. Okay. In the meantime, we're going to get into this now. Now, if you're on the internet at all, you know that Tory Lanez first of all, he was poked up in the pokey, right? They say 14 times, and that he sustained serious injuries. Both lungs were collapsed. They even showed video, which I'm not going to show because YouTube is super sensitive about these types of things. But it was a very gruesome picture that I saw. I mean, it kind of looked like he was poked up with a toothpick, to be honest. But there was still blood. And, I'm not trying to say that the guy wasn't injured. I don't know. I mean, I do have my suspicions about some things, but I'm not going to do that right now. So it seems that right after the poking of Tory, we started getting I started seeing floods of advocacy, more so than usual, because Tory has had advocates from the start, like before the trial, during the trial, after the trial. It seems like after he was convicted, his fans and people who are free Tory just seem to get stronger. Now, I always say, as a Black woman, Black women are the most disrespected, disregarded, just the most dissed of all people. And it seems that Megan, oh, you did hear her, Love Queen? Oh, she heard you, but I didn't hear you. Why didn't I hear you? Oh, okay. Streamlard. Okay. Okay, Afi, you can call me on the phone if you want. We can have you on the phone. And I'm just trying to figure out, why didn't I hear her if y'all heard her? You know what? And now that I think about it, I have been having issues with my audio. Maybe both of y'all can just call and I can just have y'all on speaker. We might have to do it like that. Hey, Shamina. Okay, you did hear her, huh? I got to figure that out. Wait, let me check something real quick on my audio. Camera, audio, mic, and speaker. Oh, okay, I think my speaker. Okay, Mitz, try coming in again because I think I know what happened. Yeah, I think I fixed it.
Okay, good. Okay.
I can hear you.
Yay! We
All
are
right.
back together again. I was trying to talk to you on my computer, but I'm on my phone now. So
Okay. It
hopefully
was
that'll
actually on
be
my end.
okay.
No, it
Oh,
was on my
okay.
end. So I
Okay.
got you.
Well,
How are
it worked
you?
out anyway. So hello, how are you? Doing well.
I'm doing well too. So let's introduce you. I know you've been here before, but can you
Yes, it's
tell the
been a
people who
while.
you are and a
Yes,
little bit of
my
whatever you
my
want to say?
name, sure. My name is Mitsun Okeda. I'm a psychologist. I met Trillion the at some of the post it was the post conviction hearings that I was at. I wasn't at the trial leading up to
Right.
the conviction. Yeah, but I got to know you and Offie, aka Black Letter Law, and loved you both. And so this case is still going on almost 3 years later, almost 5 years since the incident. So,
Right.
which is is just beyond my comprehension. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay. Yeah. And Miss Afi Black Letter Law is here.
Hello, hello. Hey, Mitten, how are
Hello.
you? Hey, guys, how are you?
Doing good.
Hey, fam, how are
All right.
y'all?
We need a little applause for everybody. So what's up? So I think we know you here, but tell the people, introduce yourself in case,
Well,
somebody don't
hello
know.
there. I am looking through my notes right now, but I am Afi Patterson. I'm from Louisiana, live in LA. I am a criminal and civil defense attorney. I was a public defender for a few years, and now I'm in private practice.
All
Yay.
right. All right. Okay. I love that. Okay. So I was telling the people, Tory has had his advocates from the start, his fan base, the free Tory, folks have been going strong from the start of this situation. It seems to have gotten more traction after the fact, after the conviction, and especially since he was poked up in the pokey recently. And after the poking up in the pokey situation, that's when I think his team came out with the press conference, and then the congressperson and all these different people started coming out with their Tory is innocent campaign, and they're pleading to they are trying to get the attention of Governor Newsom for a pardon. So
Uh-huh.
today I want us to talk about I want us to just talk about it. What I want to do is just kind of start off by showing some of the things that were coming out, and then what was said in return by Alex Spiro, and then we can just kind of get into our thoughts and evidence or whatever at that point, if that's cool.
Yeah, Doc, can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I was just thinking, with everything that's going on, especially with the Diddy trial right now, for example, it's so important that, like, I think it's important that we were there because, not being at the trial, we understand how, you can't, if you don't get to see the jurors, you really don't know what the jurors are thinking. You don't know what testimony was impactful. You don't know the moment that they're looking at the witness and then they're studying the witness's demeanor and then they're looking at the accused. So I think it's great that we were there and we're able to talk about it and to convey, what we saw. Like, I feel in a way that, Megan has witnesses, and even Tori has witnesses. Like, we're here to be able to testify with respect to what really happened because it wasn't on video, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm trying to think. I think that was my first trial coverage, being at the trial.
Mm,
There's definitely a difference because I did the R. Kelly very extensively, but from home, and it was in
yeah.
New York and Chicago. But there's nothing like being there in person, that whole firsthand experience, seeing the jurors firsthand, seeing the evidence firsthand, So yeah, let's oh, we lost Offie. So let's I want to start with
Oh no.
she'll be back, I'm
Okay.
sure. I hope.
Okay. I'm sure she will.
Okay, I want to start with this. This is just a 2-minute clip of this press conference. I honestly didn't look at the whole press conference. She's back. There you are. Yeah, I wanted to
Okay,
start
yeah.
with you back.
I would love to hear Offie's thoughts on this press conference.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
watch the whole thing, to be honest. I just couldn't do it. But I have this 2.5 minute clip I'm gonna play, and then we can just talk about as we go. We can just talk about it. Okay, here we go.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense?
Okay, so that was just a clip of the long press conference. Let's break that up real quick. So, what do y'all think? He said that Mr. James, who was a one-time driver / bodyguard for Kelsey when she went to court, apparently, admitted he overheard her admitting to shooting the gun. Any thoughts on that?
I'll defer to Black Letter Law first. So
Black Letter Law.
Yeah, I was just saying it's so fantastical. It's like it doesn't make sense to me. Um, like I don't know who Bradley James is. I think we were talking about it. He has a relationship to somebody on Tory's side or someone who is an advocate for Tory. You know, if that's true, I think something needs to be said about that. I think I said originally I thought Kelsey should make a statement when this initially came out because I thought it was going to blow up, and it has. But it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why. I'll tell you why it doesn't ring true. This guy
Mhm.
said, the guy who was speaking, he said he leaned into one of the major theories that Tory supporters has, which is that the gun went off 3 different times and then the gun somehow fell and then fired 2 more times. But we know we were there. The witness said, the gun expert said it takes what, 8.5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger. If you're pulling that trigger on that
Right.
particular gun, it's no accident. So that's why it just sounded like some fantastical thing that they just leaned into from Tory's fans. It just made no sense at all. Another thing, really quickly, he mentioned Jaquan or Quan, the driver was there that night. They didn't take his DNA. My question is, why was he not called to the stand? He could have ended everything. He could have told exactly what happened that night. Quan was Tory's driver and Tory's part-time bodyguard, I believe. They had an established relationship. It wasn't a one-time thing. He could have put everything to rest. Why didn't he take the stand?
Hmm.
Well, I remember from reporting that he was ready to go to testify on Tory's behalf, and I think the prosecution wasn't aware that he was actually willing to testify, so they needed more. They requested more time to prepare, and just kind of vet what he was going to say, and because George
They
McDeasian
showed up on the
didn't
last
want
day.
that
They, didn't-
to,
they were,
yeah, they
and they were.
and
That doesn't
they
make
didn't want to
sense.
extend it past the holidays.
That doesn't make
So
sense. He doesn't have
yeah,
to say anything. He doesn't have to talk to the prosecution at all. If he was the defense witness, the defense could have called him up. There's no way that a judge would have blocked him from taking to the stand if
yeah, I don't know that. I think there was some procedural
people have
reasons
leaned into.
why that they were able to block it, and that it wasn't. Um, it seemed reasonable at the time. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I do remember there was some procedural reason why Quan did not
Well,
testify
I
at trial.
believe it was. I believe. Sorry to interrupt. I believe it was because the holiday. So they were very strict about the stop of this trial because of the holidays. They did not want the jury to carry this over into the holidays. They wanted to wrap it up. And the fact that he had been MIA throughout the entire trial, including, like what Afi said, for the defense's presentation, I think it was a tactic or strategy on the defense's part to have him pop up on that last day. That way they can say he did come, and they knew the prosecution probably was not going to bring them. They weren't prepared, so
They couldn't have stopped him from testifying. Wait, can y'all hear me?
yes.
Yeah. Okay, something happened with my freaking headphones. They couldn't have stopped him from testifying. Like there's no way he would have been denied getting up on the stand. And I think it ended was it December 22nd
It
Yeah,
was,
I think the
yeah.
last day of
of court.
testimony was on the last day of court was the 22nd, and I think it was the 23rd that the verdict came back.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
there's
think it was something like that. But yeah, so Tory's trial lawyer had the choice to allow for more time for the prosecution to prepare, which could have gone past the holidays if he really wanted Quan to testify, and he chose not to. I'm
no,
pretty sure.
I'm saying that makes no sense at all.
Okay.
You guys, do you remember when the prosecution they went and talked to him and they came back and said no? I mean, that's what I remember. I just remember they talked to him and it was all this like confusion, and then they came back and said no, we're not going to have him testify. I don't remember who would it have been, the defense's, because it was their time up last, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
their
it was
time.
the
Yeah.
defense.
So
But
it
I'm
would have
saying
been.
he doesn't have to talk to the prosecution if he doesn't want to.
So I don't know. Then I don't know. I was looking for the audio for the gunshot. I thought I had it, but wait, I think this is it. Let's see.
Wait, no, it isn't.
Right.
Shot out of the car?
Well, the windows were open. That's why it sounded.
Oh no, that's that guy Kelly. Anyway, the 3 shots. So there were 5 shots, and the 3 shots, the pause, and the 2 shots. And they're saying that when that pause happened, that's when supposedly the gun was dropped, or there was some type of struggle between Kelsey and Tory. Wouldn't that have been picked up on the audio?
I can't speak to that.
Would you think?
Yeah.
I mean, just think about two people struggling with the gun. The audio
Right.
that's why I need to find the audio, because there's just a
I
very
have it. I
You
think
have
I
it?
have it.
Okay.
I think I have. Yeah, I got all the audio. Let me see if it might be on my page on my YouTube.
Oh,
Let me see. Oh, here we go. Audio of the 5 gunshots from the night of the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion incident. Look at me. Do you know how to pull it up?
Pull
I
up.
can
Is
just
it
send
on
it to
your?
you.
It's on your page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
one
can
of my
pull it up.
shorts.
Okay, hold
I'll
on.
send it to you right now. But okay, but Mitten, like I was saying, they don't have to. The a defense witness doesn't have to talk to the prosecution. Like I covered the ASAP Rocky trial, and none of his witnesses talked to the prosecution, and they came before the court and they asked him, "Hey, have you talked to us? Have we tried to talk to you? Have we tried to get in touch with you? What have you told us?" So that's like I have to put that to rest.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wasn't saying that the prosecution was demanded that they talk to the witness. I was just saying that they weren't sure that he wasn't, I think he wasn't on the witness list
Mhm.
originally. So they were saying that they did not have time to prepare like a cross
Mm.
That's
examination.
what yeah, that's what I remember. Is
Yes,
that
that's
they
what
said.
I remember. And so Tory's lawyer at trial was given the option of either allow for more time for the prosecution to prepare or to go on without Quan's testimony.
So why wasn't he on? Why like ask that question? Why was he not
Mhm.
on the witness list? This is your
That's a
bodyguard.
very good question.
This-
That is a very good question. That's the $1 trillion question right there. Yeah.
Well, I remember the prosecution was looking for him, and they were
Mhm.
like, "We can't find this guy. He was just MIA." Now the
Right.
Well,
defense,
that was Justin Megan's bodyguard that was MIA.
oh, okay, that's who I was
Right.
talking. Who are we talking? Oh, we're
Mhm.
talking about no. Kelsey didn't have a. I'm talking
No, we're
about.
talking about from that night, Jaquan from that
Yeah, I'm
night.
talking about
Mhm.
Yeah.
Quan.
Yeah, Quan. Mhm.
Yeah, because Kelsey's bodyguard, this guy who they're talking about, has this new revelation, this new evidence of hearsay. He's out of the blue. Nobody knew anything about this guy. Like, but
Yeah.
Quan, who was there the whole time driving the car, he was there. He was an eyewitness. He was MIA. And that is who, that was the issue. Like, where is this guy? And it seemed like he was hiding, in my opinion. And I feel like the defense was in contact with him the whole time, child. I really
Well,
do believe
they
that.
should be if that's his friend, his co-patriot. That's they have a relationship. They know each other. They work for. I mean, he works for him. So let me look up
And
this other guy
Quan,
while we're
I
talking.
have the gunshots up here, but on my phone. But real quick, I what was I gonna say? The driver, he did submit an affidavit. Quan did
After the fact. After the
after the
fact.
Mhm.
fact.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that
he did.
affidavit, he still did not say, he said he didn't see it because it happened too fast. He did say Kelsey, I think he said Kelsey had the gun, or that there was a struggle between the girls. He didn't say Tory ever had the gun, but he never said Tory did or did not shoot the gun. He didn't say
Oh,
anybody
really?
got the gun in the
Really?
affidavit. Yeah.
So, okay.
He
I
said
didn't
he
know
didn't see it. It happened too fast. That's what he said.
that. Mm,
So, but I'm going to play these gunshots real quick. Let's see.
okay.
Wait, I think I paused it too fast. Wait, let me play
I
it
was
again.
like, that's
And that's it.
wait, that sounds slower than hold on one second. Okay.
So, in my opinion, that little pause, if it was a struggle for the gun, you would be hearing the bumping because that audio is pretty clear. And I feel like you think nobody's gonna say nothing. There's no noise. There's no tussling. There's nothing. What I'm seeing is deliberation. It's somebody who they shoot 3 times, they pause, and supposedly that's when he says the dance bitch. And I think that the gunshots were isolated, so there you can't hear. But that's when the pause is when you really point, like, okay, let me really focus. And then there's 2 more shots.
Mm.
So that was my opinion the whole time, even at the trial. I was like, oh yeah. So
Right. Right. And that matches with what Sean Kelly said on the stand about, he said that he saw, what was it, about 4 or 5 shots from the smaller man? I think that's what Sean Kelly said on the stand, the neighbor.
A lot.
Sean, yeah, Sean Kelly is another issue as well.
I'm ordering the transcripts from Sean because he was all over the place. He ultimately said it was the little guy who shot the gun, but he
He did.
said also that he saw a woman with the gun. But
He did.
again, he said whatever he was led to say. It just depended on who was questioning him,
Yeah,
because
I
there
agree.
was a
Yeah, he
direct
was all over the
cross.
place.
He was all over. Let me start with him.
Hey, Chrissy Power. What's going on, Mama? What's going on, Ray Ray? You agree? I know he did do it. Well, we know that. He's convicted, so we can say that. You know, um, Love Queen said, I remember the helicopter news video only showed 3 people exiting the truck. Where was he then? Oh, the news video didn't show the driver getting out? Now that I don't remember. But the driver was a key witness, obviously being there during the whole thing. So the fact that now this new person, Kelsey, supposedly has this bodyguard driver who overheard her. Now, is that, as a lawyer, is that hearsay? Or because he didn't hear the whole conversation, he didn't hear the other person on the other side of that phone call, supposed phone call. He's saying he heard Kelsey admit to shooting the gun.
Yeah, it's hearsay. Hold on one second. I'm reading over Sean Kelly. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. And I feel like
Come right back to
too,
me.
that this bodyguard who says, oh, you know, I didn't feel safe coming out and saying anything at the time. You know, blah, 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 blah. Like I have up on the screen is his affidavit that they're saying that he submitted. You know, he gives his name and address, and he's over the age of 18, he says, and he has first-hand knowledge of it says what? Of the facts in question that took place on 2 days that Miss Kelsey Harris testified, which was December 14th and 15th of 2022, which is the basis of the above cited proceedings. And he works for Elite Security. He said Kelsey hired Elite Security to court the 2 days she was testifying. So this guy, he doesn't know her at all. Like, it's not like how Quan knows Tory. You know, that's a whole different relationship. This guy, supposedly, he's just nobody. He just got hired through this company. He said he heard these statements as we were in the car, getting a bite to eat after court. We went to a restaurant named Fixin's. Isn't that downtown?
Oh, I was
Fixin's.
just about to say they have the best fried green tomatoes. Really, really quick and delicious.
I've heard they have good food. So they
Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm listening.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm just reading through his affidavit real quick just to get
Oh, okay.
details here. Let's see. He heard these statements, as it says, after they went to eat. Miss Harris and the father of her child were the only people in the car. She later also said similar statements to her attorney of record in front of the courthouse and in the cafeteria. She was nervous and speaking generally, asking questions. Her lawyer was telling her it would be okay and she would plead the fifth if it was uncomfortable.
Boom. Lies. Okay, there we go. That makes so much sense now. There's no way an attorney would let her take the stand knowing she's going to lie. Even though she pled the fifth. We don't know what what she got immunity for. No clue, but it would not have been for shooting Megan. You can't get immunity for shooting somebody and have the prosecutor ethically continue to prosecute a defendant. So that makes zero sense at all.
Thank you for saying that, because all these conspiracy theories about her immunity deal have been
the immunity deal. The immunity deal has definitely been up for question. Now, I remember the judge taking her in the chambers about it. Remember, He was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember that? So
Mhm.
that for me, I was just kind of like, well, remember, did it come out in court that Tory paid for her attorney?
Well, she was asked about it. I don't remember exactly what she said. She gave some vague answer. But she was asked specifically if he paid for her attorney, or if he had paid for anything, or if she accepted money from him. And I think I want to say those were the questions that she pled the fifth on.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. And
Mhm.
and got us, we talked about that because we were trying to figure out what this immunity, or this this whole claim could be based on. And we thought that it was maybe she took money from him, like maybe some type of like bribe not to testify initially, because we were like, there's got to be some reason, some substantiated reason that Megan was so upset with her.
Yeah.
And Megan said, while she was on the stand, she said something like, oh no, not while she was on the stand. I think when she did one of her lives, she was like, or she texted or something, she says, see, she must have taken money, or that's how I knew she took money from him, or something like that. And I was like, oh, it's clicking. Like that makes
Right.
sense now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it came out that when they were pulled over, they were getting pulled over. He was like, I'll give you $1 million. He was,
Mhm.
offering all these things for them to
Mhm.
not tell on him. This is what had come out. Let me finish these couple of things on this affidavit real quick. He said, he heard Ms. Harris question, how can I not tell on myself? And how am I protected if I tell certain things? It says the father of her child explained immunity to her. It says at Fixins, Ms. Harris stated that she shot the gun 3 times in the air, and Daystar Peterson ran up to her and grabbed her arm, pushing it down, causing the gun to fire twice more. I have not said these statements until now. I have heard rumors of the threats that others have received being involved in the case. Also, I did not want to lose my employment as I rely on such to care for my children. I was trying to not to eavesdrop, but I could not help but overhear these statements. Generally, elite security does not follow confidentiality, yet we do not have such an agreement on file, and I decided to come forward as this has been weighing on my conscience. And I decided the right thing to do is to come forward with this information. After the guy is convicted, it's been how long? A year and 2 years?
It'll be 3 years.
We're going
Going
on
on
3 years, honey.
going
Yeah.
on 3 years since he's been in there.
Mhm.
And what about his appeal? Where is his appeal process at? Has that been?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it's waiting to go before a panel.
So
I
it's been
think
filed, but hasn't.
it hasn't come up for review yet. I think that's what the
Okay.
status is on that.
Because my question is, wouldn't this be a part of the appeal process? Isn't that the proper channel to, or I'm just confused as to why and how. I've never seen this before, where all these people are coming out and saying this guy is innocent, these Congress people and news people. And
Yeah, I think a large part of it is Tory's PR campaign and his wanting to still have a relationship with the public, him wanting to push this narrative so that when the public doesn't forget about him or his music while he's in there. And so that when he does come out, he can go right back in and plug into his audience. I think that's part of it.
And that makes sense. They're doing a
Yeah.
really good job with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody
And
gotta eat.
yeah, it's just a lot.
okay, so I want to play something, a couple more of these advocates real quick, just so we can cover. So they also brought up in the press conference. So we talked about Sean Kelly. The testimony did flip-flop a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, he kept referring to, he said he never really saw the shooting. He said he would refer to it as the muzzle shots, the muzzle flashes.
Right, the muzzle flashes, yes.
So the muzzle flashes were closest to that one. At the end of the day, it was closest to the short guy, which is how Tory was being referred to. He also said they tried to drag her to the reservoir and he thought they were trying to unalive her. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like he had a lot of extras on
There
there
were so
that
many extra things in his testimony, and one thing that I think was brought up, um, at least in some of the discussions that I was reading or hearing, was that I don't think that Sean Kelly was ever asked about his eyesight, or he kept saying it was dark, and also he was there with his young son in the house, and his focus was on his son. So I think he
right.
was trying to make sure that his son was okay and that he was safe. He wasn't in the line of fire or anything like that. But he was also, kind of seeing what was going on. I think he just saw loud, young Black people being violent towards one another, and he didn't know what was going on. I think he did see, I think and I'm not saying that I'm not saying that to dismiss everything that he saw, to dismiss his testimony at all, but he did say a lot of things that are not plausible, or that didn't, like the whole thing about how he said that he saw the shooting start in the car or the girl shoot into the car. Do you remember that?
He did say that, and there was
Yeah.
no evidence of that.
That right. There were no
There was
gunshots
no
in the car.
evidence of any shooting
Right.
inside of the car.
Right. And then Megan, didn't testify to any beating by the group, or by, attacking the whole group, attacking her. Her testimony was about Tory shooting her. And yeah, so anyway, I think that there are some key things to Sean Kelly's testimony, and I think he's always been kind of inconsistent, and that's why he was never on the prosecution's list. But the defense, because there were some ability, they saw some ability to exploit some of the things that he was saying to raise doubt. I think that's why they thought that he was a valuable witness. That's my non-lawyer, non-professional opinion, having been obsessed with the case and just having remembered a lot of the stuff.
So oh my God, he spoke to a woman, two girls were involved in the fight. Then Tory came out. Okay, guys.
Yes, I think we lost Goddess. I think it's just
Okay.
you and me up
Okay,
here.
that's fine. I was like, what's the silence? Okay, so look, I'm reading Sean's, like, my notes from Sean,
Oh,
and
okay, good.
Oh
so
my
I'm
goodness.
seeing, yeah, we were trying to figure
You're
out where you
back.
went.
I didn't even know I was gone. I was just talking.
Yeah, and then we were like, what's going on? Okay, yes, your
No,
notes.
yeah, so I'm looking at my notes and I see where they're crafting, Tory's people are crafting their defense around Sean Kelly's statement, but the problem is his statement is his testimony is so inconsistent. And I remember, Goddess, we talked about this when they were doing jury selection. They were still, the judge was still hearing different motions, and the judge asked, was the prosecution going to call Sean Kelly? And they were like, no, he's all over the place. He's made 4 different statements. They've all been contradictory. So I guess the defense decided to call him, but
I think you dropped out a little bit. My internet is tripping.
is it okay?
Okay, there we go.
What about mine?
Yeah, you're going in and out a little bit, but
Oh
go ahead.
man,
I can hear you.
I need to find. Let me find a better place to be.
I can hear you, but I'm going to play Amber Rose real quick because she's the one who supposedly got this woman, that congressperson, involved. Here, let me see.
Why you are advocating for Tory Lanez?
I'm advocating for Tory Lanez because the evidence shows that he's innocent, and he deserves to be pardoned by Governor Gavin Newsom.
The evidence shows that he's innocent. How broad of a
Again,
statement what is
there
you talking about?
I don't think any of these people know. If you weren't there, if you didn't hear the testimony, and if you just hear their side of the story, it it makes sense. Like, oh, okay, he's innocent. But the only thing they have is these inconsistent statements by Sean Kelly. And he says, he now Sean does say the two girls were fighting. The two girls were fighting. He says that a lot. But then he
Mm-hmm.
also says the three of them were beating her. The
Mm-hmm.
female and the other gentleman, they were all beating her. Um, he said they looked like they were about to throw her in the river. I quoted that. It appeared
Mm-hmm.
to him that they were trying to kill her. They
Mm-hmm.
dragged her to the car, drove down the street, then they did a U-turn and drove off. And it's like at that point, when I heard that, I had just had enough with him. I was like, he's just reciting some American gangster movie that he saw. Um, and then seriously, he said, then on cross-examination, he said he called 911 and he said they were beating the girls. All three of them were beating the girl. Then he said he saw the muzzle flash when the small guy got out of the car, the
Mm-hmm.
back seat. I think at one point he said he was in the passenger seat. He said they were all shouting and screaming. The short guy was firing everywhere, approximately 4 or 5 shots. Now he said that on his that was when we came back after lunch. He didn't say that on his initial direct.
Mm-hmm.
This is during cross-examination. The prosecutor then played the audio of the gunshots. Oh shoot. Hold on. Are y'all still with me?
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
here.
where y'all went. Okay. Prosecutor played the audio of the gunshots, 3 shots, about 1.5 second pause, then two more shots. He said that sounded exactly like what he heard that night. Then he said Tori's arms, plural, were outstretched. Then he said after the short guy shot the girl, she collapsed in the road, started bleeding and crawling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, his son found one of the cartridge cases. It appeared that there was a girl shooting inside of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, I made a note, nullify testimony.
Wait,
I'm just
okay.
like
So
writing to myself. Um,
what was in your mind when you wrote that note? Nullified testimony.
like
What was your
this,
thought?
I don't know. Like this, I don't. Let me not curse. This doesn't make any sense. Like he's just, oh Lord,
Yeah, void him out because he ain't making no sense.
yeah. Like this is stupid. And then I wrote here my thoughts. It started off really well for the defense. Then the witness says some insanity. My thoughts immediately, he's been watching too much Power. These are my little side notes that I wrote.
You know what? He may have been watching that before he went to bed
Yeah,
that night and saw all of this. So you might be onto something there.
yeah.
Yeah, I have my
But
yeah. I just
but
found my
then
notes
he
too.
he said, somebody said, what was the short guy saying? And Sean Kelly said, a torrent of abuse, all in words and mother effer. They were
Yeah,
all calling each other that. They were all calling each other that. He was going crazy. He was really agitated. I mean, so it's like you can't take. It's my point is you can't take the first half of Sean's testimony and then say like we're gonna believe it, this and stand 10 toes down on it, and then just completely ignore the last part of his testimony, which goes really horribly for the defense. So I'm not paying attention to any of it. The only thing I did have questions about was um, I thought that perhaps Megan and Kelsey did get into some sort of little match. I don't know. I don't know what
well, I'm looking at my notes up for
a
that
little
as
while
well.
ago. And number one, something about Kelsey, I believe, is she's very aware of the hand that feeds her. And she's, just the way that she described um, that night being at Kylie's house. Megan. She's aware of her personality. She's aware of how she gets when she's sober versus how she's drinking. To me, Kelsey was always on self preservation mode. I don't think she's going to shoot her employer. That's number one. And number two, you guys know, I believe that Kelsey and Tori did not have a sexual relationship. If they did, their lawyer would have and should have definitely brought that out during the trial. I remember him very gently saying, you all had an intimate relationship. You got an intimate relationship with your mama, with your daddy, with your children, with your best friend. You have deep, intimate, personal relationships with all sorts of people. You need to talk about penetration if that's what it is.
Right.
Like, don't
Right.
skirt
Yeah,
around
they
it.
were
And he
never
did
explicit
that for
about
a
that.
reason. And we all know that night, as Kelsey testified, she said she was so freaking scared. She called a dude that she was kicking it with because nobody was there to answer the phone. She said she tried to call her mama, she tried to call her sister. Nobody was up. I think. Um, she gave us a story about how she like normally looks at Facebook to see if her mom's online or something like that. But she said nobody was up, so she called a dude she was messing with because she was so scared of what had happened, and she just wanted somebody to be on the phone with her. Do you remember that?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then she text Tori's Megan's bodyguard.
At 4 a.m. Help! Tory shot Meg.
Which
Yeah.
I do have a question about that when we
But
get
you
back to
kind of
that. But yeah.
yeah, because I was still on Sean Kelly. So let me real quick. I want to go over his redirect
Yeah,
real
my
quick.
bad.
And I have my notes. I'm just gonna read through my notes real because they're very short.
Okay.
On Sean Kelly's redirect, they asked if he knew he was being recorded. He said yes. They asked about the walkthrough. Doesn't remember changing his story. So you were being truthful. He said yes. Remember the 911 recording? Do you remember saying the shooter was a female? He said no. Gave him a transcript to refresh his memory. Any questions for you? Let's see. Any questions for you to give description of the shooter? He said no. Asked about Officer Diaz. So they just were asking, but he was very clear. He didn't remember saying the female shot the gun, even though I think he had just said it before lunch, like you said, a female had the muzzle shots were close to the female. But he remembered certain things. He didn't remember the important things. And like you said, null and void at this point. So let's see. Do you remember saying, let's see, you saw them struggling over the gun after the gunshots? He says, yes, they struggled continuously. They were all struggling at the same time. They were all fighting. I heard the noise and I saw the flash. Remember the lady fell to the ground and telling the investigator the smaller guy started arguing with the female. And said the shorter man had an object in his hand with outstretched arms. Then there was gunshots and, like you said, a torrent of obscenities, which might have been the dance bitch. I don't know, but it says she crawled across the street, curled into a ball, and the small man was very angry. So then there was a redirect, but he, remember seeing Kelsey's injuries from, she said, what Tory did to her? She had a whole bald spot.
Yes.
Which was shocking. And people are now trying to say that Megan did that.
Right.
So if I'm glad you said that. Don't Goddess, as you're reading that, it's crazy. Like your notes mirror my notes. He said the first time, hold on. He identified the female as the shooter the first time after talking with the defense investigator, but he had spoken to other officers before that. But the first time he talked about the female shooter supposedly was the defense investigator. Hold on. Okay, so anyway, if you listen to Kelsey's statement that she originally gave, when she, oh my goodness, remember there were tears. People had tears when she gave that statement because, or when they played that statement, because it rang so true and it was spot on to her injuries and Megan's injuries.
You're talking about people in the courtroom had tears?
Oh
Listening to
yeah,
Kelsey? Oh wow.
that is what that's what sealed the deal. I don't think that I don't think it should have been allowed to have been played. And Goddess, you remember we talked to my colleague who was a prosecutor, and she was like, the judge made the right call there. But I don't think the defense opened the door to be able
To
to
the
play
full,
that
to the,
entire statement.
you think you
Yeah.
mean the full audio, the 80-minute? Are you talking
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I do remember, I'm glad you said that, Alfie, because I think during some of the post-conviction hearings, towards sentencing, the judge did agree with the defense that maybe some of that should have been redacted so that the whole tape, they didn't need to play the whole tape in order to show whatever it was they were trying to show. Because
Like
I
that.
think the defense
Yeah.
that she wasn't being coerced. They didn't need to play the whole tape. So the judge actually
Right.
did agree that they probably should have redacted some of that.
But he
Yeah.
said that y'all should have. He said y'all should have objected to it, and he was like, "I did object to introducing it." And he said, "You should have." He said something about like you should have renewed your objection specifically for whatever reason. And so I didn't agree because, and I think that that is absolutely what sealed his fate.
Hmm. Her original statement. Hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it was
Yeah.
it was so believable.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
if you've ever been, you know, young and dumb having fun, like these are the things that happen.
I'm looking at
Yeah.
my I'm
And
looking
it's
at my
yeah.
notes. So I guess the officer Ryan Stogner wasn't there. That's the officer that
That's a detective. Yeah.
the detective.
Detective
Yeah,
That
Stogner.
spoke
Yeah.
to Megan um, initially, but he wasn't able to be a prosecution witness because of the
record or
uh,
there was something
yeah. That was like a
was a little
DV charge, and he was like on administrative leave or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was just looking at this because it says that um I asked him if he was the lead detective. He said yes. Police reports and all the follow-ups, he said yes. Any follow-ups on what is this 716? I guess he said yes. He followed up with Sean Kelly as well,
Hmm.
telephonically, gave description. He said he gave him a description of what he saw and heard. That and then it says two females fighting. He says yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, who the shooter was? Did he say who the shooter was? I don't have what he said.
I
It
said
said
it
oh, the
said
one
it says Sean did not mention Tori as the shooter that day. He said the other female was the closest to the
to the
muzzle
muzzle
flash,
flash. That's
and
what
he
I
saw
have.
two
Yeah,
women
Hmm.
fighting. That's it.
yeah, two other persons. I
Hmm.
yes. So yeah, that's where the confusion I think also comes in because he did sound like he gave a different statement to the officer investigator than he did in court. And people are saying it was after lunch and during lunch or a break or whatever, and he had talked to the prosecutors who may have, you know, led him to, say what he ended up saying, which was that the short guy was closest to the muzzle flash. But again, the rest of the things he said was so off the charts and off the mark, I would have to say, that
Hmm.
can we even consider that? I don't even know why the prosecution, they should have left him out of it. But
They should
would the,
have.
would the defense have called him though? Because the defense then their investigator saw him too, right?
Say that again. I don't know where you went.
I was saying the defense had an investigator that also spoke with him. So I'm wondering if they
Mhm.
didn't call him, would the defense had called him?
The Stogner guy.
No, I'm sorry. I'm back to Sean Kelly.
Oh, if
Well, he was a defense witness, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I thought
Hmm.
he was a prosecutor. Oh, he was a defense
No,
witness.
he
Oh,
was a
okay.
he
defense
was a
witness.
defense.
Yeah.
The prosecutors say they're not calling him because he's all over the place.
Over the place. Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay.
But
Hmm.
but let me tell you something that hit home. Let me tell you something that hit home, and it's just like as a human being who having been involved in relationships, it's hit me so deep. And again, I might be just paraphrasing from a 3-year-old memory here, but when the way Kelsey described the how she was looking out for Megan, just like that fight scene, because it's more than just like after the bullets, after the gunshots. I think she went and crawled somewhere and Tori
Hmm.
supposedly went after her. And do you remember Kelsey said she had like jumped in front of Megan, and she said that she and Tori were fighting or something.
Fighting.
And then
Yes.
she was just like, "What are we doing?" She just said to
Hmm.
him, like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you
Hmm.
Yeah.
doing?" And he stopped. And then she went to the car to try and like jump it or something like that. It was like a whole
Yeah, to
you
try to
just
like
gotta
jerk it
listen.
forward, like jerk it across
Yeah,
real quick to get
yeah,
his attention away from her.
Right.
yes. So
Uh-huh.
Right.
it's like you have to re-listen to that part because it just seems so real and so vivid. But the thing that hit me is when Quan came and he said to Kelsey, they do this all the time. Do you remember
I
that?
That has haunted me. That
That
Yeah.
has haunted
hit
me.
me so deep. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Hmm.
Lord.
Mhm.
Like
So
that
they
part
had
was so believable.
they had a
Mhm.
trauma bond, those two,
Yes.
Mhm.
and that relationship was toxic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It was.
even at the Kylie Jenner pool party or whatever,
Mhm.
it never came into. I don't think it ever came up about drugs or alcohol being
Well,
a part of the equation, but
alcohol did come up, but not
it
they.
did. But
The yeah.
knowing what I know, like I hang out with
Mhm.
these people, but knowing what
Mhm.
I know, because I know Corey Gamble was in that house, Odell
Mhm.
Beckham was in that house as well. When
Mhm.
this was going on, there were people in the house
Mhm.
at a time. And it's kind of well known these things go on. So
Right.
my thing though is, did the police do any testing with regard to that? Meaning, do they drug test or, I was it's just an afterthought, because I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, that is it kind of, to me, there's an impact with regard to credibility, and as well as the anger, the aggression. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I just feel like that could have given a little more, like, okay, now I can understand that this did go way over here because they were doing the tootsie and the pink, and you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I
But they
think
don't they don't bring that stuff up a lot, I've noticed, in courts. Like
Yeah. I just assumed that if that had been part of the equation, somebody's lawyer was able to keep it out. That
somebody
was
what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
I assumed that if drugs had been part of the equation, that somebody's lawyer had been able to keep it out.
Oh, right.
Um,
And I was
yeah,
thinking too, if it was, would they have to get somebody from that party, somebody other, these people to testify, like a Kylie. Remember they were
that's a
trying to
good
say Kylie
question.
was going to
They
testify,
kept saying that she was going to testify. Yeah,
and
I'm
she
so
was
glad
not
she
going to testify.
didn't. No,
Oh, she was not
absolutely
going to
not.
testify. Her mama wasn't going to have
Oh
that.
no, absolutely not.
But that could have kind of gave us a little more context of what the hell was happening. Like,
hmm
it's
Well,
just,
and I think that's why they brought in EJ, because to
yeah,
bring in that context of what was actually happening at the party, what was the dynamic between
right.
Tory, Meg, and Kelsey leading up to when they left.
EJ the
So
stylist, right?
EJ the stylist, yeah.
Yes. Okay. But let's get back to, so the rebuttal here, the innocence claims here. So we covered. So he said, this guy, he gave us an affidavit out of nowhere. The Sean Kelly testimony, right? They're saying
hmm
corroborates, and then the DNA sample. They're saying there's one DNA sample that was taken on scene, and they're questioning why no one else's was taken, especially the driver. So, any thoughts on that?
I'm gonna sit this one out for a second.
okay, what
I'll
you
be
guys
honest.
asked about why didn't they DNA test the what was
Anyone
crazy?
anyone other than Tory? That's what their claim is.
So
They're trying to
okay.
say there's a cover up.
I no, so this is the thing. I don't know why, but I don't know why, and I don't even know if we got any statements from that night. I don't know if they made any statements, but they apparently the police did their initial investigation that night of what happened, and they let Quan go and they let Kelsey go. So they thought that they had whoever their man was, because didn't they let them go early and they kept
They did. They did.
Mhm.
I don't think Kelsey or Kwan were ever booked. Tory was the
Okay.
only one that
No.
was booked
Yeah.
and had to bail out. Yeah.
So yeah, so
Right.
after, but I don't, and the thing is, we know that that night Megan didn't say anything.
hmm
She didn't implicate Tory. So that's what they deduced. That's what the police officers deduced after their own investigation,
hmm
and they
And
probably
also,
looked at the ball spot in Kelsey's
hmm
head, and
Right.
hmm
you know, um,
Well, they tested for the residue as well, which he had and Kelsey also had on them because of their
hmm
proximity to each other. I'm guessing, right?
right. And Kwan didn't have gunshot residue on him, so that's why he was ruled out from the other testing. Yeah. Um, I don't remember why Kelsey ended up not giving a sample for DNA. But I do remember there was something about um, male and female DNA and how the DNA that was found on the gun was predominantly male. And so maybe that's why Kelsey's wasn't, maybe that's why they didn't test Kelsey for DNA.
So the DNA on the gun, they said there were 4 results, 2 female, 2 male, but one was predominantly male, like 80 or 90%.
Right. The primary contributor for DNA was a male.
But it wasn't Tory's, right?
It wasn't enough to say yay or nay.
To say it was,
It
but he
wasn't-
wasn't excluded. It was just
He wasn't excluded. It was
right.
inconclusive. That's
Inconclusive.
right.
Okay.
And both
So it was
both the witness
inconclusive.
and the prosecution admitted that it was inconclusive, and they could not definitively say that it was his DNA on that gun. But you know what? One thing that I've never seen anywhere else, I do remember a tweet from one of the NPR reporters. Remember that Louder Than a Riot podcast? One of the NPR. Okay, well, one of the NPR reporters that was there talked about how there was some follow-up testimony from one of the gun experts, and they talked about how they asked if there were any situations that could diminish the presence of DNA on your skin, and they said yes, water, swimming pools. And I need to
Oh
find
yeah,
that tweet.
I remember that. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
And that every time people make a big stink about this DNA, and I'm like, okay, well, the gun probably was white, and they were in the pool all day. So
all day. Yeah. They probably had wrinkled up fingers. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You reminded me of that. I did not remember that, but yeah, you're right. So that makes sense. So that never comes up when people say, well, his DNA was not, it's because he was in the pool all damn day.
He was in the pool all day. Exactly.
Okay.
I forgot about that. Like that's
find
very
that
important. Yeah, I'm looking through my notes.
I'm gonna play this real quick. This little video I saw on Instagram of Tory being interviewed. Okay.
Tonight, do you want to talk about what happened tonight? Your girl to safety tonight? Do you want to talk about what happened tonight? Your girl to safety?
So he basically said, I was just trying to get my girl to safety. And he also referred to her in a different part of the police interaction, that my girlfriend, he kept calling her his girlfriend. And I think that was to protect himself, to make it seem as if they had this, they were in this relationship. So he wasn't just some random shooter.
Yeah.
He said he was trying to protect her. He wanted to make sure she was okay. That's all I'm worried about, is how he said. I think that's bullshit, obviously, for me.
Of course.
And I wanted to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say most things that come out of Tory's mouth are bullshit. So.
Guys, reading through my notes. I have in my notes, there is a man coughing. It sounds like he's hacking up a lung. And then I have dash paid by Rock Nation.
In the jury box?
Wasn't there a juror who kept talking?
A juror.
I forgot about that.
It was brought up by somebody, the prosecution. Somebody brought it up, and weren't they removed? Didn't they get replaced?
No, he wasn't replaced. He wasn't replaced. These notes are hilarious. I said,
there's another juror was replaced though. Juror number 4, I think. I had a note, and I don't have my notes in front of me yet, but yeah, the jury was a whole other thing. That's the thing about these juries. You never know. You just never know. Let's see. I wanted to. Where is that woman? She was all over my page, and I couldn't get rid of her. Now,
the congresswoman.
Yeah, because she just.
I have opinions about that when you get done.
Yeah, that's why I want to, because
I'd like to hear a theory on that. But look, I'm looking at a note, a text message, and I think it's a text message between Kelsey and Megan. It's not going to be exact, but it's a little scribble scratch. It says Kelsey sent message, maybe Megan regarding a blah blah blah. Care for her. She has a heart murmur. Care for her chest. She has a heart murmur. I think Kelsey has a heart murmur, and she says that's from the fighting and him dragging me out of the car by my hair.
Didn't she ask?
She was talking about Tory supposedly dragging her out of the car by her hair.
Yes, she did. And that's how we know he did that, because a lot of this stuff came out through text messages between these people.
Yeah.
I guess.
And the emails from between that were released between Sean Hawley and Tory, because she'd mentioned something about Kelsey's medical bills and one of those emails.
In my notes I have here that it says Kelsey was told that she has use immunity and that she could tell the truth with no consequences.
Right.
So she's telling the truth.
But did she tell the truth on the stand, or did we have to hear it through that that audio that we heard with her and the investigator?
I think it was on the audio.
I mean,
I definitely think it was on the audio. The only thing that she said differently, it was so annoying listening to her on the stand. And my theory was she was angry with Megan, and she didn't want to do anything that would help her because, like she said, Kelsey said about Megan, she never protected me. She never defended me. She made this all about her. She put me in the seat with the bad guy. She did not know that I had met with Tory. She was getting, Kelsey said she was getting threats from the public. She doesn't go to grocery stores anymore. She said she had been cornered in the dollar store, and it says it takes her an hour just to get out of the car to go somewhere. So I figured when she got on the stand, she didn't want to do anything. She felt betrayed. I think she said that word a few times. So she didn't want to do anything that would necessarily help Megan.
Right.
But that statement, the prosecution got that statement in. But the only difference is she said that they bumped each other. But like, okay, so what was the bump? Was it a fight? And she said again, no, it was
I
a
think
bump.
it was Megan who said that Kelsey and Tory may have bumped each other.
No, I'm looking at my notes. It says, did you I don't know if this is defense or prosecutor, but it says, did you and Megan get into a fight? Be truthful and remember your immunity. She says, we bumped each other. I don't know. That's a quote. And then it says, she said they both exited. This is when she was on the stand, not the statement. She said they both exited the vehicle at the same time. Kelsey was so confused. She said, somebody asked, could there have been more than bumping each other? She said, I don't know. Then, this is the defense. The defense says, you understand you have immunity. She said, I couldn't understand. Kelsey said, I couldn't understand what you were saying because of the coughing. And then everybody in the court laughs. It was that man from Rock Nation coughing.
Oh my goodness.
Rock Nation.
I found one of the audios, so I'm gonna play this real quick.
Okay.
Testimony of Megan Thee Stallion, her friend Kelsey Harris, and DNA evidence on the weapon that convinced jurors to convict. Pretty simple, right? Maybe not. Turns out that DNA, only a 0.01% chance that the DNA is from Lanez. He's always maintained his innocence. He was sentenced to 10 years. So this is really about the testimony. Lanez, so what happens? So he goes away, recently stabbed 14 times in prison. Many say it was a hit, okay? Because new evidence is about to come out.
And the reason why I took particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was Tory's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine. And also too, as you said, 0.01% chance. I mean, that evidence in itself should pretty much speak for itself. We are calling on Gavin Newsom to issue that pardon immediately. And also remember, he was almost killed in jail. I actually talked to him today on the phone, and he said that once he does get out, once he does get this pardon, which I do feel confident that he'll be getting, he's going to work extensively in prison reform, because this should never happen to anyone.
Okay, well, this audio did not say that we have new Ring doorbell video that we're going to be presenting. They've been saying that. She said 36 hours. It never came to light because I don't think it exists. But what do you think about what she's saying here? All this evidence that she's saying is already presented evidence that was in the trial.
Yeah, I think she's just saying sound bites, and I think she's just sounding you know, sounding articulate across the public media waves. I don't know.
Here it is. Wait, I found it. Sorry. I'm excited. I found it. Okay, this is what I was looking for. Here, listen. Come on, girl. Come on. Jesus.
Okay.
I actually saw a new affidavit, and there's going to be. So there, I was made aware of some ring footage, so video footage, and actually just talked to one of his attorneys, and so that will likely be released in the next, whenever they decide to release it, next couple days.
So does the attorney have that footage
Oh
right
yeah,
now?
they have actually a lot of evidence. I'm surprised that a lot of people, some of it were like, oh well, that's new news, but some people were completely unaware too, specifically on the number, the DNA specifically for the gun, 0.01%. It's literally not him. They also didn't test people, but yeah, so that stuff will all be released, I think, in the coming days.
So, and have you spoken with Governor Newsom or anyone else about this?
I have a call into his office, and so we're working on scheduling a time. And there's a letter that should be going out to him later.
So I would assume, since these are strictly state charges, this would have to be a state pardon, correct? President Trump.
Correct. It's up to Governor Newsom, but I think that there's a lot of people that are looking at, hey, this is clearly not correct, that this is an innocent man that's been imprisoned. And I think that that's where, on the federal side of things, when I talked to Tory's in jail, as you know, so I talked to him on the phone. And I think prison reform is going to be something that he's going to definitely tackle once he gets out. And it's pretty wild that this kind of case happened. Also, too, he had a gag order placed on him during the trial, so he couldn't even, and that's just so insane. You put gag orders on people so they can't defend themselves. That's nuts.
Finally, why is this so important to you?
My goodness, this guy's an innocently incarcerated man. Obviously, we're by no means perfect, but that type of situation cannot stand if you have a double standard of justice that exists. Also, too, when the evidence was brought forward and presented to me, I was baffled that he was even charged after what I saw. And so specifically, you're talking about someone who's basically been smeared and saying and alleging that he shot someone in the foot. By the way, did you know that the ballistics evidence says otherwise, and that there's no bullet fragments? They can't locate those alleged bullet fragments. I mean, how do you even have a conviction on that? It's really crazy. So.
Okay. Can we talk about the bullet fragments that they supposedly can't find?
It's in the report. They're bullet fragments.
They're saying the actual fragments weren't brought. The evidence is missing, is what the claim is.
I think, didn't they remove fragments from her feet?
They removed them, and then they said that they bagged them and gave them to the police. And then there was some sort of claim that they were missing. And then later they said that they were not really missing. So I'm not really sure what happened with the
okay, I'm gonna bring up Spiro's. I'm gonna bring up Spiro's rebuttal. But so my notes say that there was 1 bullet and 4 large metal fragments removed, but they refer to medically the bullet and the metal fragments as fragments. So they kept saying fragments. They did remove fragments from both feet, Achilles on one, and the heel on the other. And the left foot had a top layer of skin removed. I have a picture of her in the hospital because it was now coming out as well that the injuries weren't visible. I think this is it. Let me see.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
from the bottom of her feet.
Yeah, so here's the picture. They're saying no gunshots.
Right.
Let me see.
When the injuries were at the back
But
of her feet.
her
and on
heel,
her
if you can
heel.
see on the bottom of her foot, yeah, you can see
Right.
you can see blood. I can see. Obviously,
I can't see.
you're
Are
not
you
gonna see
posting
it
it?
on the,
Are you posting it?
it's up. Oh, let me share. I'm sorry. Let me share this tab.
Okay.
It's kind of blurry, but
I have
where
the
the injuries,
X-ray. Do you did I send you the X-ray? I can pull it up.
no, you didn't send it to me.
Hold on, let me find it.
But this is what I'm saying. I think I commented it's right here. The bullet fragments were removed from her heels and Achilles, not visible here. The surgeon testified to removing one bullet and several large fragments, showed x-rays in court. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. I'm so sick of this because it's just, let me tell you how I feel. I'm going to show you exactly how I feel right now.
How you feel, Miss Lady?
Show you.
36 hours later and still in truth uncovered, suppressed evidence proves Tory is innocent. For best viewing results, please turn your phone, refresh the page if you're on, and absolutely turn off your brain and all critical thinking faculties while you're at it. Truth becomes clear when the facts come to light. Key inconsistencies, unreliable testimony, and missing evidence prove that Daystar Peterson was convicted based on a flawed and incomplete narrative. Through Megan Pete's own words, police reports, and experts analysts, the facts suggest that Tory Lanez did not fire the weapon and tried to stop the conflict. The case deserves to be reconsidered as the evidence points to a different truth. Fact check list. Megan told police and doctors that she stepped on glass, not shot. Video and officers confirm Megan stepped on a glass bottle, not hit by gun. I can't do this. I'm not gonna be able to make it through this.
Okay. I can respond to that.
Like, when I tell you this is psychological gaslighting, this is psychological gaslighting. Now, mind you, Reckless, these idiots have audacity to put up a website and then create a fact check list segment that reads Megan told police and doctors she stepped on glass, not shot. We already know this. She already said why she said that. But secondly, video and officers confirm Megan stepped on glass. So you're gonna use a video and officers to confirm that, but you won't use the doctors and the x-rays to confirm that. But let me tell you how this is such a crock of shit. And this is literally just like psychological warfare at this point. This is like literally a psyop right out of the Tory Lanez camp. This is the same team, right? Who just had a press conference and presented an affidavit by Bradley James suggesting that not only was Megan shot, she was shot by her best friend and personal assistant, Kelsey. So how are you going to literally push narrative and literally establishes this out of the gate on the website that he tried to stop a conflict? Well, the conflict certainly wasn't stopping a bitch from stepping on glass. And you've already debunked this whole glass shit with your own new narrative, which is that, well, she was shot, but she was shot accidentally by Kelsey, and our client tried to intervene and stop it. So then, how the fuck do you have a fact check list? Still trying to carry the nuts of the step throwing glass narrative. This is narcissistic abuse at this point. I feel like an abuse victim. I feel like I'm being psychologically abused. this is bitchcraft.
Yeah.
This is bitchcraft. I am too clear thinking, rational, logical.
Maybe this was the energy you was feeling.
So I had to text Conscious. I'm like, can I use some of your video, child? Because you basically told me how I feel.
mean, they said it. It's plain as day. We're all being gaslit. We're all being abused by this narrative at this point.
Basically, okay, Afi, I got the X-ray picture you sent.
No, that one's I don't think that one's mine. Because it's got
I just
TMZ on
screenshotted
it.
it from your text that you sent me.
You have to expand it. You have to click
Okay.
on it.
Well, I screenshot when
I
I did
can see
it.
it.
When I
That's not
did
it.
it, when-
That's from well, it's the same thing. It's
well,
from
you sent this, and when I clicked it, it went to X. So I screenshotted it. So this
Yeah.
came exactly from whatever. So
I'll send
okay,
you what I have. It's
And then
okay.
this is
That's
what-
fine. That's what it is. That's what it is.
and this is what you sent.
Yes.
Nixon. What is
Yeah.
it?
And I'm gonna send you the report.
So that's the screenshot of from the Louder Than a Riot podcast crew. That's where they were talking about the swimming pools in the testimony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent you a link to that post in the host chat, so you can be able to pull the full
Oh,
thing
okay, I
up
got
on Twitter there. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right. And I just sent you the report too.
Oh, okay, got it. So psychological abuse, psychological warfare. What did he say? Gaslighting.
I mean, he was the one that put out that music video about the horse leg, him cutting up the horse legs.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that.
That's what I wanted to say. Because Anna, the Congress lady, said something about the fact that he had the gag order put on him, and that was also
the restraining order against Megan that he broke like twice prior to the trial even starting. There was never a gag order. There was a restraining order that he had to stay a certain amount of distance away from Megan. But then when he popped up at Rolling Loud with the baby that year, that was him violating that. And then it was one of his responses to her tweets that day that she had that meltdown online with DJ Academics about the DNA result. And so that was the second time that he broke that restraining order. But yeah, people keep referring to it as a gag order, but it was never a gag order, it was a restraining order.
Okay, so during the trial,
or a protective order.
They did not institute a gag order during the trial. I kind of remembered something just because of the social media stuff that was going back, and I think that because of stuff that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But
right, yeah, because people kept calling it a gag order, but it was the protective order that was to protect Megan from him, leading up to the trial.
So this woman, this Paulina, whatever, said that there's evidence in 36 hours. She said, I saw is video evidence. So my question is, if it's an appeal process, is it proper that they submit these things to the public prior to it going through the court, or does it matter? I mean, does it affect that at all?
I defer to the legal minds on that question.
Yeah, that's a lawyer question. I know Afi, she's probably digging into something. What you doing?
Well, just from my own perspective, I would think so. I would think that the courts are the proper channel to sort this out. But again, this is, most of what Tory. Oh, there you are. Okay, good.
All right. Yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
I was asking. So the congressperson brought up the fact that there's this video evidence that had never been seen before, and that they were going to be revealing it in 36 hours. So I was asking, isn't the appeal process where this should play out versus this coming out in this way? I mean, and going to the governor, is it proper protocol? I mean, would the governor not say, has it gone through appeals yet?
Yes. I think they would bring it, their point is to bring it to the governor just to bring awareness to what's going on. But procedurally, I think you would file a writ of habeas corpus. And I think they've already done that. Haven't they done an appeal and a writ?
Yeah, I think all his appeals paperwork has been filed up to this point. It's just waiting to be processed.
So the panel hasn't reviewed, like it hasn't gone through the panel for a decision at this point yet. Is that where we're at?
I don't believe so. No.
Let's see.
Okay, so here's the x-rays you sent. It says, here are x-rays from Megan Thee Stallion's feet, and page 2 of her operative report. Paragraph 4 of the report mentions the bullet fragments and their chain of custody. Okay, and I have the report that you sent.
Wait, did she say she's trying to get like a pardon from the
Newsom.
Governor
Yes.
Newsom, right?
Oh,
and she
my
all the way down in
Lord.
Florida. She represents Florida, Tampa.
Yeah, she's not even
from
from California.
right.
She said Amber Rose is her friend, and Amber Rose.
Let me ask this: does Amber Rose live in Tampa area, or does she live in Florida? Is she her Congress rep? Like, what is the relationship?
I have no idea. From what I can tell, all I see are right-wing nut jobs, honestly. And from what I saw, some comments saying that the midterms are coming up for and they are trying to basically get the black vote. I mean,
yes,
to be honest,
black male vote specifically.
Yeah, specifically the black male vote. So they're using this as propaganda. It's
exactly.
Okay, so you gave the report. I can't read it. It's too small. Even on my phone, I'm like, what? But there is a full report. The point is on the bullet fragments that were removed. There were it happened. So some people I saw, they got paid off. Sometimes some can't satisfy anybody. You can show them right in their face the proof and they're not going to believe it. So, but it's here. It's here. I want to bring up, hold on. I want to bring up Alex Spiro's response to this nonsense. He had a statement as well as some type of slide presentation.
Yeah, I can send you the link to the presentation. You put it in the text or in the
I
chat?
think I have it. It's in X.
Okay.
I think I have it.
Okay.
But
okay.
I have the statement too. But they're basically like, y'all full of shit. Like, stop.
Exactly.
You're repackaging and repurposing the evidence that's already been presented. And it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's see. This is the
Oh, here we go. Okay. I've got, sorry guys, I zoned out, but I'm zoned back in. The doctor testified, Dr. L. Haruno, the orthopedic surgeon at Cedars.
Yeah.
She was admitted through the ER. So I think people were pointing to the first doctor who examined her. And that first doctor is kind of like triage. They were relying on what she said.
Yeah, it's just
the
intake.
second doctor, right? It's just intake, just triage really quickly. The second, Dr. Haruno says you can see, and I quote, foreign metallic bodies in her left foot clearly. She also had foreign metallic bodies in her right foot, soft tissue of her Achilles tendon. If the bullet fragments were not removed, she could be at risk for being in constant pain and infection. She was placed under anesthesia, and this is just my little word, surgerized on her foot for about an hour.
Right. And it wasn't outpatient. She spent the night, right? And she got nylon stitches where she had to come back for a second treatment to, I guess, remove or what have you. But yeah, I have those notes as well. I've been typing those notes in response to people, so I kind of know that by heart.
Okay.
Chief of Surgeon Haruno or whatever. But it's very disturbing when I'm seeing this climate of, I don't care what you say because we got to protect this man because he's being, it's scary to me because it's kind of like, I mean, I know people say, well, we got to protect him because what if it's your son? What if it's this? But my thing is, my son wouldn't be doing that. I mean, and if he was drunk and this happened and it was my son, I mean, I'm not gonna deny there's just the truth and there's not the truth. I mean, that's just it for me. I mean, I'm not saying that
Right.
I my
And
son
there's
out.
plenty of black men that we could be advocating for, and who have been
Exactly.
wrongly incarcerated, wrongly convicted, who the state should probably, pay out their grandbabies tuition to college and buy them their, down payment on their first house or something, just because of how much wrong that they've suffered. But they keep trying to make Tory Emmett Till, and that's what bothers me.
He ain't that.
No, absolutely not.
So what else are the other claims that we are
It's just I don't know if
addressing?
I don't know if people have ever been arrested before, or I don't know if a good number of people have ever been around police officers outside of getting pulled over. There are people that have never, lucky them, been pulled over by a police officer.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
police officers just, I can always tell when I'm talking to a police officer or a former officer and a former inmate of, they're just
Mm-hmm.
these telltale signs. And when you're talking to a police officer, it's very well, it's off-putting sometimes. And but it
Hmm.
can be very intimidating, and you kind of like close up, or you
Hmm.
just spill your guts. And I'm looking at the notes here, like we were in the middle of George Floyd, right? It was
Hmm.
just a
Yes.
summer of
Yep.
This
Mr.
media
Floyd.
aftermath
And
of that. Yeah.
she said, when you're being questioned by a police officer, sometimes it can seem like they're questioning you to catch you up,
Hmm.
Right.
and it's just, you don't want to say anything. And I know she said, I'm looking at Megan's testimony. She said she didn't want to she said she didn't feel safe in the car, and she didn't feel safe with the police. She
Hmm.
didn't want to get shot or be responsible for anyone getting shot. She
Hmm.
didn't know if they would shoot first and ask questions later.
Hmm.
And especially because she knew the police were responding to a gunshot.
And shot.
And yeah, so that's,
Hmm.
it's late at night. You're in a city that's not your own. You're in a neighborhood that's
Hmm.
not your own. You got helicopters overhead, and they're responding to gunshots. I don't know where she's from, but only she knows
Hmm.
what she knows about police officers responding to
She's
gunshots,
from
right?
Houston.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, Houston's a nice place. I don't know what part of
Well, she's
Houston.
she's not from the
Um,
nice part.
okay. So they
Yeah.
I just like I can understand that whole night,
Hmm.
that whole experience. And it's just, I was talking to my dad about it. It's really unfortunate.
Hmm.
All of these lives were destroyed
Hmm.
by emotions and
Petty.
silliness,
Hmm.
and youth and
Hmm.
alcohol and
Hmm.
ego.
Yeah.
Lives destroyed. It's just, but anyway, I can see it happening, the
Hmm.
way that it's been described.
Hmm.
Why didn't she tell the doctors? Okay, this is my note. Why didn't she tell the doctors? She said because she already lied about stepping on the glass. This whole situation in the industry is like a boys' club. I'm telling on one of your friends. Now y'all are about to hate me. Oh, you remember when she got into that?
Hmm.
Goddess, about how it is, like how you kind of like what we're talking about with the Diddy trial, like how you can get blackballed in the industry. It's
Hmm.
really
Right.
it's a small industry, and it's a boys' club.
Hmm.
It definitely
So,
is.
Y'all remember
and
when Diddy was supporting Tory, was showing love to Tory right before his trial too?
how
Yeah.
ironic, right?
Hmm.
Not surprised.
So, but it just goes to show you how, and this is what I was talking about earlier with Kelsey. Like, you're not going to shoot the hand that feeds you. Like, this is your
Hmm.
boss, this is your supervisor, this is how you make your way through life, this is how you're,
Hmm.
as Kelsey said, they were just starting to gain access. You're not going to shoot this person behind
Hmm.
somebody you're not sleeping with, and even if you are, it's not even a serious relationship. It's just
Right.
nonsensical to make that, which is why Sean, what's the lady's name, Sean Holly, was like,
Hmm.
this theory that you guys are choosing to press forward with is not really viable. I wouldn't do it.
Hmm. Right. And that's why she stepped away
Yeah,
from the case, because he insisted on that defense, and she was like, "I'm not. This is not viable."
it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
But that's just the same thing. Like, Kelsey, I believe, had, you know um what do you call preservation, self-preservation on her mind that night, just like Megan did
Mhm.
when she was making her statements.
Mhm.
This is a boys club. I'm not gonna sink this person, because if I sink him, I'm gonna also sink myself.
Mhm.
So she was like,
I'm just
how
going through all these comments,
Yeah.
y'all. I'm sorry, I have not.
oh,
I've
let
been.
me see. I love your people. Goddess, let me see what's
They
happening.
over here going off.
The
Okay.
way we call jail. Yeah, exactly. Shamina,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
Love Queen said
Love
Tory still
Queen,
have
yeah.
to be deported. That's what I was gonna bring up too, about the fact that he's not even a citizen.
Exactly. He's
And
not.
this woman is talking about, oh, he's gonna be advocating for prison reform and in Canada, right? Because he gotta go. Gotta go.
Right.
Ray 4911. She said a gag order that he never followed.
Mhm.
Lawyer lady reminds me of the woman on Trump's team who lied for him all the time. Yeah. Conscious is on point with his commentary as always. The narcissistic abuse triggers me real bad. I can only imagine what Meg is feeling right now. Exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, and she had this launch right recently.
Yes, she did.
I'll show that after because I want to show like where she's at.
Mhm.
But I want to go through their little checklist and get them out the way because I just really wanted to address here all of these things there because my timeline, I guess it's the algorithm feeding me what I be on, but it's full of this weirdo bullshit. I'm sick of it. Honestly.
Same.
Because like we said, being there, present at the trial, day in and day out, seeing all the things, and then to here we are a couple years later, it's like we're revisiting the trial all over. It's like we're back in the trial. It's like actually before the trial, how it was. People going back and forth and all the theories and the conspiracy,
Right.
all the things, you know.
Which, from a media narrative standpoint, I hate to say it because I don't like to give him credit at all. And I don't like to, say people are doing things well when they're using their gifts for evil. But in terms of the media narrative that his team is pushing, they know what they're doing. You know, it's been a couple of years now, almost 3 years since his conviction. It's been almost 5 years since the shooting. People's memory about this is fuzzy, and they remember those specific talking points that kept coming out during the trial and leading up to it. And so they keep leaning into that. But then if you go through the whole 36 hours later website, they don't even present their argument in a coherent way. Like
Right.
they're highlighting the contradictions, but they're not really telling you what's the truth. They're
What
just
was
trying
the
to say,
new
"Oh,
video
doesn't make
evidence?
sense."
What was
Yeah.
the new video evidence? Did they have a new ring video evidence?
No,
Just the audio.
The Congress lady said that they did have new ring evidence, but I think the new video evidence, the main one that everybody was talking about, was when Megan told the police that she stepped on glass. But
We saw
she had
that during
already
the
said that.
trial. Yeah.
She already
He
said
said that. I mean, it was
Yeah.
already put in exactly.
But why is that relevant though? Why is the fact that she said she stepped on glass even relevant?
Because people keep saying that she wasn't really shot.
Yeah, they're saying
And it's
she's
the-
But
she
we
lied.
know, but how about this? We know shots were fired, right? Are they also saying that shots weren't fired and that there wasn't a gun present?
No, they're not saying that either. So they
Right.
can't pick which story to
Yeah,
drive home.
we need one through line here.
I
Right.
think at the end of the day, they're saying she's a liar. They're just like, well, she
Right.
lied more than once. And I was talking
Yeah.
to, well, not talking, I was commenting back and forth with a person because they said that, well, she lied more than once. That's why it's hard to, you can't believe her. And I said, I had the one time about the glass, and she told us why. She testified to that, and you know the whole George Floyd thing. But what else? What are you talking about? And I guess
she did
at the
lie
end of
about sleeping with Tory or hooking up with Tory.
oh yeah, that
in the Gayle
yeah.
King interview, which
Right.
I mean,
I didn't understand that.
That's embarrassing.
No,
Yeah,
that was
she
like I
talked
didn't.
about it in that documentary she did. She did talk about that.
Yeah,
she was
she
honest
did.
and said, I didn't want to say it. That's nobody's business. I didn't want nobody to know. Like, you know,
exactly.
Well, then she should have.
Fortunate she
Whoever her
just couldn't.
publicist is should have gone over that with Gayle King before she started the
She should
interview.
have.
Yeah,
she should have.
There were a lot of bad choices that were made. I feel like there were that interview was not properly prepared for.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Like, who let her do that?
Let me go through these bullet points real quick on their fact checklist so I can get this off the
Sure.
screen, and then we'll go to what Alex Spiro says in rebuttal. So the fact list bullet points: Megan told police doctors she stepped on glass, not shot. Okay, we already addressed that. Video and officers confirm Megan stepped on glass bottle, not hit by gunfire. What video and officers confirm that she stepped on glass bottle and wasn't hit by gunfire? I don't know that they can confirm that if she's not properly treated.
I mean, they pulled bullet fragments out of her feet. So.
Right. Before she got in the ambulance, when she was tiptoeing around after they got pulled out of the after the whole pullover thing, that she talked to the officers and told them she stepped on glass. They looked and they said it was consistent, that what looked like injuries consistent to stepping on glass. She told them she stepped on a glass bottle, I guess, and it looked to them like, oh yeah, that it looks like that. That's not medical expertise. That's not enough to say confirmed. Yeah, that's an opinion. What else? Sean Kelly testified. 2 women fought in the street. One fired first. Tory was still in the car. But he also said a lot of other things. So you can't isolate this one thing. What about them trying to drag her into the reservoir and unalive her? What about, there's so many other things that aren't being said about his testimony. So you got to X that out. What else? Kelly tested positive for Kelsey tested positive for gunshot residue. Her DNA was never tested against the gun. Okay, well, she had a close proximity to Tory during the incident. So gunshot residue travels, how far did they say? Like 18 feet or something? It's like a cloud that comes.
Yeah, there was a cloud. I don't remember how it's
like a cloud.
Travel. Yeah.
So
they said it could travel pretty far.
Yeah, it travels far. So, and they were close to each other. And her DNA was never tested against the gun. Well, couldn't it have been tested after the fact? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works, Afi. When could the defense have tested, or could they have requested her DNA be tested against the gun after the fact? If
after
it wasn't
the trial?
No, not after the trial. During the like up to the
before
trial.
The trial.
Yeah.
Before the trial.
Yeah.
Okay, so why didn't they do that then?
I don't know.
They knew they didn't have her DNA tested at that time. So if it was something,
like, remember there was that thing about the 95 or 90 something % male contributor of the DNA.
Hold on, let me think.
So they probably ruled Kelsey out from that.
So you're saying they tested the DNA results from the gun or the mag or whatever, and based on what they saw, they didn't think it was necessary to test her.
I think that's what happened. I don't know that for sure.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, especially since Tory was the only one held.
Right.
So clearly he was the suspect.
He was the one that they thought that did it. Right.
Yeah. Because you know why? You know why?
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say he wasn't even arrested for the shooting at first. He was arrested for possession of the gun.
Right.
He was arrested for the shooting later because they didn't have enough to go on to arrest him for the shooting because she didn't admit to getting shot.
Exactly, because it was exactly. So initially, though, I remember this is something that stands out for me. The body cam footage of the police officer searching the vehicle right after they got out of the car. There was a bunch of scattered papers on the floor of the passenger seat where Tory was sitting, and the gun was underneath those papers as if trying to hide it. And it was hot. The officer said it's still hot.
Hot, yeah.
And so it being that there were no prints, it obviously was white.
Right.
He had to have wiped that gun as well as the mag, because how was there no prints? And it's right there, hot. Somebody had it.
Somebody definitely had it. And then remember the thing about the swimming pools. They were in the pool all day.
Right. They were in the pool too. Yeah, that's the other thing. But I feel like he wiped it because he probably didn't realize that.
He probably did.
Yeah, he probably didn't know my wrinkled fingers aren't going to leave,
no.
Afi, just jump in whenever you find what you're looking for, because I know you.
You like to have your documentation. You like
I'm reading my notes.
She's a true attorney, child.
Yeah, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Kelsey received free rent for a year after the shooting. Who paid and why?
That was okay. So I remember what happened right before the shooting. Megan told Kelsey, I think, to give up her apartment. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
yes, so I remember she didn't have a place to go.
To go.
And I
Right.
think Megan paid up her stuff for a year. It was like at that point, Megan was separating herself from Kelsey.
Yeah.
And you remember,
Right.
my theory was, Kelsey was the last thing that really kept Megan grounded to whoever she was when she was in Houston, to her home, to herself, because she, just kind of like that beacon for her. And because Kelsey said, wherever she said we were a unit, that was her quote. When you see Meg, you see me, and
Yeah.
vice versa. So
Right.
I felt that like that was a I hate to say a perfect opportunity, but it was just a mighty fine time for Megan's management to come in and separate her from,
Right.
that last guidepost from
Right.
her home, right?
Right.
So, and Megan, I think at that point, she said, she was on the verge of becoming famous. And I think she realized that she could lose it all. So she leaned into whoever she knew could save her or best help her out of this situation. If they recommended sending Kelsey home, they sent her home. But I think it's professional to pay up her apartment for a month so she
Right.
can get back on her feet. Like, because she
And
doesn't
I
want to
think
get sued either, right?
right.
Because
And I
Kelsey
Right.
think
could very
yeah.
much sue her.
I think that Megan did offer to pay up
Now
for
I'm saying she
Kelsey to
did.
have a place for a
I think she
year.
did
Yeah.
pay it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure her label, or probably Desiree or whoever was advising her or whoever was helping, run the show, probably said, we need to do this so she can,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
go away and not be disgruntled. We need her, okay.
Right. It's like a
No,
severance package.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. The next thing is EJ said an object in the girl's luggage looked like a GUN. I kind of remember that in his testimony. I don't think he
Yeah.
confirmed
I think
it.
He said it looked like it could
He
have
said
been
it
a
could be.
GUN.
It was
Right.
all, everything with him was like, oh,
It
it's
could
possible.
be
It's
right.
possible.
Right. Okay. So it wasn't really confirmed. He didn't say, yeah, she had a gun in her luggage. He didn't
No.
confirm. Yeah, it wasn't like some concrete thing.
Right.
Okay, so the next says Megan claims she spoke out in response to Tory, but the timeline proves she went public first.
Which I do want to say something about that. And I think
Wait, what are
on
we doing
paper,
here?
sorry.
I'm sorry, guys. What is this? What are we reading? This is what Tory's
This
people
is,
put out, or?
yeah, this is the 36
Hours
hours later. This is their
.com.
bullet points of all the evidence that proves he's innocent.
Okay, and which one are we on? I really apologize.
Megan claims she spoke out in response to Tory. Remember when she went on Instagram and said he shot me?
Oh yeah,
So
okay,
they're
good.
saying
I'm
she
there.
said she was responding to Tory, but they're saying the timeline proves that she just went public first about it.
Which that is true. She did speak before. She did technically speak before he did, but he did have his little mouthpieces going off before she spoke anything, and that's what agitated her to the point of speaking out.
Yep,
Yeah.
I have here. Kelsey said in her testimony that Megan's people told her that she wasn't pressing charges. It wasn't until Tory's people started talking about how she was intoxicated that night that she came out and said something, because everybody was really quiet about it. And then I remember the public was going back and forth with their theories, and then it was leaning toward Team Tory. Megan was a drunk. Kelsey shot her.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was taunting her because I think he was trying to get ahead of things.
Yeah.
Publicly, so he could get what it's the same thing he's doing now. Public,
exactly.
So he could get the public support. So he was saying things and saying little things, and she finally just came out and said it, because I think it said, I didn't do nothing to her. He was like, saying little things like that, because obviously everybody saw the on the news when they got pulled over. I mean, if that didn't happen, if it wasn't on the news, this may never have come to this.
Right.
But because it was out there, people were
well, and also we were all on lockdown when it happened.
that
So
too.
everybody, we didn't have nothing to do but
Wasn't
be on
nothing
our
else
phone
going on.
and to be in this
Nothing else
case
was going on.
and be
Exactly.
running from COVID and either out protesting or on curfew or what, just that was a time, y'all. We need
It
to
was
unpack
a time,
quarantine
child.
and what it did, how it impacted everything. That's a
Yes.
whole nother topic, but yeah.
And that's my thing too, because I always was wondering, because that's when he was doing that pandemic radio or whatever.
Oh, the quarantine radio or something like
Right.
that on Instagram.
And
Yeah.
exactly. And that's when they got close because they were hanging out, they were trauma bonding, drinking.
Yeah. I don't think
having
they would have
fun.
I don't think that
And
would have played out like that had we not been in quarantine.
exactly.
I don't think this would have happened. I don't think they would have gotten that close that quickly.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
So we got to blame the quarantine.
The quarantine. It's all COVID's fault. We can blame
It's all COVID's fault. Exactly. Okay, so the next claim is Tory's DNA was not found on the magazine, only 0.01% on the gun, statistically irrelevant. We already kind of addressed that about that. So
and we also don't know where that gun is from, right? Like we don't know who the owner of the gun
we
is.
don't,
like,
because it wasn't registered.
Yeah, we don't know.
Exactly.
So
anybody could be on the magazine.
Right.
But we do know that he didn't have no business around one with his past, which I guess couldn't. Yeah, and I don't think it could have been brought in court, right? That about his prior bad acts or whatever. But
it wasn't able to be brought in. But I remember the prosecutor was able to get it in there because Megan testified that he said, "Please don't say anything. I'm on probation." And the defense kept saying that he's not actually on probation. But then Kathy Todd was like, "But he was actually in a deferment program, and that's what he was referring to." Right. And that's what he told Megan, and that's why she said that. So,
and that's what it says here. It says, please note, Tory was not on probation at the time of the incident. He wasn't a felon, nor did he have a criminal record before this case. The owner of the gun has been sealed and never determined. Has been sealed?
Wait, what?
Okay, Afi, what that mean?
I don't see that on here.
It's on the right side.
It's on the right
side.
Please note, Tory was not on probation at the time of the incident. Yeah, so that's why they couldn't talk about it, because he wasn't on probation. I didn't feel that he was a convicted felon. Like they didn't bring in any evidence. You have to file a motion to be able to introduce that anyway, and they didn't because they didn't have that information because it doesn't exist. Okay, the owner of the gun has been sealed and has never been determined. I don't know what it means. The owner of the gun has been sealed. I have no clue what that could possibly mean. That I think it's a misprint or something.
Well, what they're alluding to though is that they know who it is and they won't tell us. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say they've been suppressing stuff.
Right. It does kind of give that tone that
really
so much evidence has. Well, because they're one of their main arguments is that all of this evidence has been suppressed.
Yeah.
How can the owner be sealed? How can the owner be sealed and not determined at the same time? That doesn't make sense.
I don't know anything
None of this makes sense
about GUN laws or registration or any of that. So
it's ridiculous, is what it is, and that's the thing.
Being sealed indicates that you have a determination and you're sealing it. Undetermined means you don't have any information. So
you know what? Now that you said
they just
something,
write words.
You just said something that says to me, maybe they're talking about it's been sealed because Tory knows where the gun came from, but nobody he hasn't said anything. So maybe he's the one that sealed it. They didn't say who sealed it. It just says
right. That's what I'm saying. They're just writing words at this point.
Right.
Like
oh my gosh.
Make it make sense for me, dear.
Make it make sense. So it says that the next one is we're almost there. Tory's jail call apology was about the drama of two friends, not a shooting.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So if this is something that could clear him and it came up in court, they played that call, wouldn't it have come out? See, that's the thing too. How come he just didn't testify? If you didn't do it, and I know that's the thing that defendants don't testify.
Yeah, he doesn't have to testify. Like that doesn't bother me at all that he didn't get up there.
But why couldn't he clear up the fact that wasn't an apology for the shooting? That was an apology because
The only way he
So
could do it is if he testifies.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. If
I'm
anything,
really big on a defendant's right to remain silent.
I get that. As a
Like,
lawyer, I knew you were gonna say that. That's why
well, I
I
mean,
prefaced.
it's a right, like, because
I know,
nobody is ever fair.
but
Nobody
it's
is ever fair to defendants. Seriously, it's like
because they
from
can
the
open
moment
themselves up too, though, for the
it's
prosecution.
anything you do. If you breathing too hard, if you looking to the
Yeah.
left too strongly or to
That's
the
a
right, it's
defense
not
attorney.
right.
But you're facing 10 years or more, because he was facing more than 10 years. You don't
Up
think
to
that
13. Yeah.
you don't think it would have been if you were if your life is on the line, because look, he just got poked 14 times. His life is on the line. You don't think you could clear up some of this stuff yourself to convince the jury you didn't do this? I mean, come on now. Like something like this, they're saying the jail call, like
I think there's an argument to be made, but I do understand what Afi is saying about the defendant's right to remain silent. And also, when I was following the trial, I just remember thinking that would have been the stupidest thing for him to do ever, was if he
Yeah.
testified, because he wouldn't have
Because
been able to clear up anything, and a lot of this stuff can't be explained away in the ways that he was trying to explain it. So
could they have isolated his testimony to the phone call? Like if the defense said, we want to clear up the apology call, because that's very damning. They couldn't have isolated that and said,
Yeah, they could have only questioned him on a couple of things, but it's you just never know how you're going to open yourself up. Like, who knows what he would have said on the
But
stand that
if
could have
you're
opened the door for
innocent,
anything.
okay, I get that. But if you're innocent, what is there to fear? I mean, I'm just saying, I'm thinking of me. Like I haven't done nothing. If somebody comes, if the feds come knocking on my door right now and say, you did X, Y, and Z, and I know good and well I didn't do it, I was nowhere near it, I'm getting on the stand.
But you also have to think about what can be used against me, even to make me look guilty. What about my mannerisms or the way that I say things that could make me look incriminating?
So what you do, I've had clients that want to testify. You just sit them down and you say, all right, I got you. You want to testify, and you just kind of go through the process with them. These are the gentle questions I'm going to ask you so you can tell your truth. Because a lot of times, your client will be guilty. And they just they want to, but they might feel like they're justified, and they may very well be, but they want to tell their truth so they can explain their justification. So sometimes you just have to work through it with them and say, all right, buddy,
I get that.
let me show you how things are going to go if you get on the stand. And you just do your little softball questions, and then you turn around and get aggressive so you can show them how they're going to completely fall apart. And then you yell at them, or you curse at them, or you be real soft and gentle, whatever their personality requires, but you tell them you're going to go to jail if you take the stand. You're not going to get these little 7 years, you're going to get 35.
Right.
I'm from
Exactly.
Louisiana. That's what send them to jail for life for anything. But
Okay.
a lot of time, then a person might think that they're charming and that everybody listens to them, and they might be charming in their little world with their little group of people, and they might be able to hold court in their just little space, but with larger audiences, they'll get called out on their BS really quickly, and you got to let them know that, which is a crush to the ego sometimes, but you got to do it.
Okay, so basically he should have just on that jail call said, I'm sorry that I slept with both y'all and caused this fight. He should have just said it on the call if that's the case. Because how hard is that? Either as opposed to, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for none of this to happen.
I think he's aware that. I think he was very aware that prison calls, jail calls are recorded. Like they say it all the time. They say your call is being recorded. Your call is being recorded.
So he shouldn't apologize then at all on the phone. Why would
Well,
he
I
do
think
that?
well, because I think he still needed to issue an apology. He didn't have contact with anybody. He still needed to get that apology out. So
they didn't rat on him.
Yes, in my opinion, he was doing some very careful damage control. Can't blame him for that,
Which can I insert this one thought? There's this
of
one. Do y'all follow Olayemi Olorin or Olay? Allure, and she's the attorney out of New York who got up in Eric Adams' ass on the Breakfast Club. Do y'all remember that?
No, I don't
She's
remember
from
that.
the Bahamas. She has a she has a web presence and a few YouTube channels called the Illuminati. But she wrote a piece, a two-part piece, because she's an abolitionist and she's worked as a defense attorney in New York City, and she talked about how, you know, if we had alternatives to the prison system, then Tory may have been able to make amends or to take ownership of what he did. But because his freedom was on the line, that was one of the reasons why he started acting this way, started being more aggressive in the media, started accusing Megan of all this stuff, and started harassing her. And I'll have to send it to y'all, and maybe we could talk about it sometime, because it's a really thoughtful two-part.
So she's blaming the system on why he behaved the way he did.
Not the way he behaved. Well, she's not blaming the system for the shooting taking place. She's saying that because the system is the way that it is, he may have had more incentives to take accountability than he did at the time.
Interesting. That's interesting. So she's basically saying there should be other options rather than prison.
Then, of course, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's also other options rather than shooting.
There's absolutely other options.
But okay.
To handling your emotions. Yeah.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So wait a minute. Tory has repeatedly said, I would never do anything like this. This is a part of their reasoning of why he's innocent, because he said, I would never do anything like this. So,
okay.
There's that. But then the public know about August Alsina, about that rapper Dax that he beat up at the club, and he actually went and found that guy and beat him up over a diss track. There's so many things this guy has in his repertoire.
He has a lot of he's had a lot of violent outbursts.
He's violent, yeah.
That we know about, and imagine what we don't know about.
So by him saying I would never do this, I mean, come on.
Well, remember what triggered him in the car is when she mentioned something about his career.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what took it. That's what took it over the edge.
That's what enraged him.
She was sunning him in that car. She was like, you ain't got your little song with so-and-so. And I don't know. Did she talk about his height as well? I don't know.
No, she didn't talk about his height.
I don't think in the car. I think she made some jokes about it on the stand.
She said some of the last words they exchanged. Tory told me I wasn't it. So I told him, actually, you ain't it. And this is where you are in your career. That's what she said. I think Kelsey explained it a little bit more prolifically.
Wow. So his ego was hurt, basically.
Oh man. Yeah.
Okay. No bullet fragments on the x-ray, no nerve damage, fractures, or joint trauma in Megan's medical records.
So in the car, oh man. In the car, it was like a huge argument. It was really bad. So Megan kind of downplayed it during her testimony, but she did say everybody was kind of shouting the first time. That's when she got out, and then they continue shouting. And then Tory said, "I'm from Canada," and then Kelsey said, "I guess that means she's like a gangster." And then she said,
"Yes."
He said, "I will boom you," and reaches toward the middle console. Kelsey said, "Okay, if you boom me, I have people who will ride for me." Hold on, going on. I'm trying to see where she said Megan said she said they were also hitting each other with their careers as an artist. Hold on, I can't find it, guys. I'm like, Tory apologized. Meg saying it's loud. Meg can hear in this. Okay. I'm gonna have to keep reading through this.
Well, yeah, they definitely were throwing shots at each other, and especially if they've been drinking and doing whatever else, that's gonna escalate. That's gonna be heightened. I don't know if y'all have ever been drunk and fighting, but I know I have been in a couple arguments.
I've blocked out everything I've ever done 2018 to 30. Let me
Oh
not age
wow.
myself.
Wow.
I've blocked it all out. I had to when I
They're
went
like
to
it didn't exist. That doesn't
It
exist.
doesn't
yeah.
exist.
I
Yeah.
know I had good times. I had good times. I had a praying mom, a praying grandmother, and a good church. Cause good God, I lived a good life.
Because you could be a part of this type of narrative, huh? Otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
think we all could if you lived a little.
Mm-hmm.
If you've lived a little, if you've been out and about,
yeah. Some
this could
people
have happened
haven't.
to anybody.
Some people, I know people who have never, like this would never. I mean, yeah, definitely me. I know for sure. I've been in some situations back in the not, obviously a long back in the day, but some people have never experienced any type of things like this. There's a lot of really straight laced, like never stepped out of line or done anything risky or been around people they shouldn't have. None of that. But all right. So what about the no X-ray? They're claiming there's no bullet fragments on X-ray. We just saw that. They're saying there's no nerve damage, fractures, or joint trauma in Megan's medical records. So did they access her records? Aside from the surgeon testifying and providing the report? And I guess that don't count according to them.
It's interesting. I think the surgeon said she didn't have nerve damage, and Megan said she
But
did have nerve damage.
but what he did describe is still injuries.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Like that's inconsequential. Like the
Right.
nerve
So
damage doesn't matter.
why does she have to have these things in order for this to have happened? If she did have substantial injuries and she's going to have pain, they said there's permanent damage. So
Yeah, she has permanent scarring on both feet for sure.
Okay. Well, they also say the bullet fragments were lost and never presented at trial. Did they have to be presented at trial?
That's so weird. What happened to the bullet fragment? Like, how do you lose bullet fragments?
No,
I am curious.
Well, we'll get to Alex Spiro because according to them, and there was also a report that came out because I think this was submitted to the court. They responded. It might have been some type of motion or something. I don't know, but they did respond and say it's in custody. It's in evidence now. The gun is in evidence as well as the fragments. So,
are you sure?
Yeah, we'll get to that. Oh, I haven't got there yet. All right. Then it says prosecutors misused Tory's rap lyrics, tattoos, and uncharged allegations to sway the jury. So rap lyrics is something that is commonly, well, no, I won't say commonly, but we have known that rap lyrics are fair game, right? As far as this goes.
Yeah, they used each other's rap lyrics though. Like the defense used hers, Megan's, and you remember Megan testified first, I believe, and I think
Yeah.
the defense brought up her lyrics, and
Okay, so
then they brought up his. But they're talking about when they showed the picture of Tory with the AK or whatever it was that's like on
yeah,
his abdomen or something.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His affinity for the GUNs. Yeah. And the uncharged allegations came
That shouldn't
in.
have been let in. I agree with that.
Yeah, that came in though. Did Mitson, is that what you were saying? That they opened the door because something was said. I can't remember what you said, but basically, but you say it shouldn't have been brought in, but is it fair?
I was talking about the tape, the Kelsey statement. That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Okay. Well, but my question is it fair for the prosecution to bring these things in if they're able to? I mean, they are fighting the case. I mean, if they can open the door, if the door was open, just like the phone call, the 80-minute recording of not the phone call, the what is it? The interview with Kelsey and the prosecutors. You're saying that shouldn't have been brought in. The door was open and it was allowed. If it's allowed and it, the prosecution feels like it's going to help their case, it's not fair game.
Okay, I'm just tapping back in. I think I'm looking at the notes, and I think they got
You
it
have to
in.
prove. Oh,
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I said I think they got it in under prior inconsistent statement because in my notes I see the prosecutor saying, "You told us something very different in your statement. You told us it was Tory who shot the gun," and Kelsey was saying, "I really don't remember. I honestly don't remember seeing." So I think they got it in under prior inconsistent statement and to show that she wasn't put under any pressure or coerced into making a statement. So I think it's okay. Yeah,
Okay,
I
I
think
was going to say, if you were the prosecutor in this case, would you not have? You're saying you don't think it should have, but
no, I was originally saying I didn't think because I thought he let it in. I thought he let the whole statement in originally because the defense was implying that she was intimidated and being coerced to make the statement.
oh, okay,
But I think he also let it in under the prior inconsistent statement rule.
okay,
So yeah, that's
okay,
fine. That's fine. It
and
was because
then
that's what sunk him. I'm telling you, that's what did him in.
mm-hmm. And then Kelsey's story changed multiple times. They say she admitted to lying under pressure.
She did. That's why
Yes,
they played the statement.
exactly. So they see. It seems to me they're bringing in these different little. They're cherry picking pieces of the evidence that are they feel work in his favor. But what about that 80-minute?
hello.
Yeah, Mitch, where'd you go?
Oh, I'm right here. I think I'm having issues with my audio. I'm wondering if I should try to stick it out or disconnect and then try to reconnect. While y'all are doing that.
You sound good. I don't hear Goddess.
Oh, you don't hear Goddess. Oh, where did she go? Okay, what? I'm sorry. Well, what were we talking about? Let's fill the air while she gets.
I don't even know. I'm going back to looking at Megan's testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Oh, you know what? She had her statement put up there, and we're talking about how they're cherry picking. Oh, she left altogether. Well, hey guys, let's go look at the chat. Oh, she says, "I'm back, y'all," but that was 5 minutes ago. Ray, Tori is a B word. Abusers usually are so emotionally fragile. My mom got beat so many times after hurting a man's little feelings with her work. Yeah. Okay. So, and that's the thing. Um, what really triggered him allegedly that night was um Megan belittling his career,
Right.
and things just shot off literally from there.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like Tory, Diddy, or any other abusers. Her latest video was amazing. No monetization because she cursed all the neighbors out. Oh, love Ray. Sir, you going to jail. I did, yeah. I've said that a bunch of times. And then look, I've had clients, tell these ridiculous stories, and you just have to look them dead in the eye and you say, look, I will fight for you. I will
Mm-hmm.
stand up there and I will tell this judge and this jury everything you're telling me. But sir, ma'am, you gonna get 30 years.
Right. Right.
I promise
This is
you,
not.
I
This
will
is
fight for you and do
not
exactly what you say. All
right.
right. Love Queen. This is why I'm glad y'all was at the trial. Yeah, so that's I'm being at the trial is so important because I'm telling you, watching the jurors is important. And you can tell when a juror is going to be the foreperson. You can tell when they like the defense counsel, you can tell when they feel sorry for the defendant, when they feel sorry for the victim.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much you can tell. You watch them at lunch, you watch how they interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. He's nowhere near Emmett Till. All right.
Where are
Mitchell.
you in the? You're way back in the comments.
All right. I'm just running my mouth. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello, Offie. Offie. Hello.
Can you all hear me?
All right, guys. Mixon, are you still there?
Okay. There you go.
Got us
Yes.
coming right back. All right.
Okay, good.
Let me talk about. Oh man, I was relying on you guys. I'm just been looking through all of my notes.
Where
All right,
were
so
sorry, I got lost. Go ahead.
all right, so let me talk about Kelsey's statement.
Yes. Okay.
Let's start right there.
Hmm.
I talk about in my notes. My observations are always so interesting to me. Um, I said Kelsey walks in, her demeanor, she looks comfortable. Her husband's demeanor seems supportive. His name is Darian Smith. And I don't know if you remember at the time, wasn't he supposed to be? And that's her. They say it's her husband, but I think it's just her partner.
Right.
Well, I hate saying just. I'm not minimizing that, but
I'm not sure if they were legally married or are
yeah,
legally married. I know they had a child together at that point, and I think he worked for
Mhm.
the record label that Megan was fighting.
Yes. Okay.
That
And
Kelsey
they
was still affiliated with, was still working with on some things.
and
I think. Yeah.
right. They had a son since the shooting.
Hmm. Right.
Um. So at the time, she and Megan they met in 2018, or no,
Hmm.
so they met at Prairie View, and she
Prairie
had
View.
worked. She had worked as her assistant from late 2018 until the incident. So for about 2 years.
Hmm.
Um. Let's see. Kelsey had just returned from Houston because remember she was out. She had COVID,
Right.
and Megan was shooting the WAP video with Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
They're invited by Kylie to hang out. It wasn't like a party invitation. At this time, she and Meg met him at Rock Nation brunch in early 2020. So that's
Right.
when she met Tori.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to the incident, they had only flirted. She went home to Houston because of COVID. Then she came back. She was in LA less than a week when all this happened. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So Meg, Kelsey, and EJ arrived at the house around 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Megan volunteered to cook nachos.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else went outside to play beer pong. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember what's the guy, the football player? He doesn't drink.
Odell Beckham.
Yes, he doesn't drink. So Kylie's best friend was there, Corey Gamble, Odell Beckham's friend, about 9 people. Meg came out and was like, y'all having fun without me. Kelsey said, come and join us. Everyone kept drinking alcohol. At some point, she lost consciousness because of alcohol, maybe around 10 or 11. When she came back to her senses, everyone was gone except Megan, EJ, Tori, and Kylie.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, she was aware and okay.
Mm-hmm.
Megan was laughing uncontrollably. She said she never heard her laugh like that, so she could tell something was wrong. EJ said, it's time to go. And I remember when EJ testified, EJ said something similar, like
Yeah.
he knew it was time to go.
Mm-hmm.
Megan didn't want to leave, or
Right.
somebody didn't want to leave. I just have she didn't want to leave. I don't know who that she is. Anyway,
I think it was Megan that didn't
oh
want to leave.
wow.
Yeah.
Tori was going between Kylie and Megan in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey loaded the luggage in EJ's car. Kelsey sat in Quan's car. She sat in the front seat. EJ says, Kelsey, tell Megan it's time to go. Your wig is coming off. That made her get up out of the pool. Remember, Megan's wig was slipping that night. EJ
Right.
testified to the same thing.
Right.
So they all left. Tori stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Then they moved the luggage from EJ's car to Tori's car, and Megan hops in the front seat.
Mm-hmm.
Quan goes in to grab Tori. Tori
Mm-hmm.
comes out and says, no, take them home. Tori did not want to get in the car with us. That's what Kelsey said.
Mm-hmm.
So Kelsey, Quan, Megan leave. EJ follows them. Megan is still doing the weird laugh. Then, oh my God, I remember this. Megan realizes she left a Louis Vuitton slipper.
Yeah.
Yeah. She said they faced 6 security guards. They let her in. Megan Kwan get out of the car for a moment. They immediately, Tori Kwan and Megan rush out. Kylie comes out but remains on the porch. I think something happened when
Yeah.
Megan went in.
Kelsey said Megan was like, Kelsey said we got to get the F out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Megan says, B. Kylie said we got to get the F out of here.
Yep.
Apparently, Tori and Megan were arguing.
Mm-hmm.
Megan keeps doing her laugh. Kelsey's wondering why. And then Tori says, yeah, tell your best friend what's going on. Tell her how fake you are.
Mm-hmm.
This is from, I think this is from, okay. Tori and Megan start arguing. She's never heard Tori like that. He's calling her B's and H's. Kelsey started defending Meg. That's when Tori goes, you remember I was saying that I'm from Canada.
Yes.
And Kelsey says, I guess it means I'm gangster or something. He
Mm-hmm.
said, my end, I will shoot you, then reaches toward the middle console. Kelsey says, okay, if you shoot me, I have people who ride for me. They were on Sunset Boulevard at this time. Megan demands Quan pull over the vehicle. I guess she hops out. Megan hops out on Sunset. Tori then hops out. They have a conversation. When they get back in the vehicle, it was very calm. Everybody was very calm. Tori apologized to Meg and he's saying it loud. Meg can hear, and that's when it starts back up. They also start hitting each other with their careers as an artist, and not physically hitting, but like
Right.
talking.
Verbally sparring. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tori, when they're at a location, Tori demands Quan put the girls out. He says, put these H's out.
Mm-hmm.
Megan hops out. Then she gets out. She looks up at gunshot. She sees Tori. It was a smooth transition. He was shooting over the top right front passenger door and he was shooting the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Megan was walking away, but by the third or fourth shot, she turned around and she was like a deer in headlights. Tori
Mm-hmm.
was angling the gun down in her direction. She said he wasn't saying anything. She doesn't
Right.
know where
Megan
he
was,
got the gun. Huh?
Megan was the only one that said she heard dance bitch. Kelsey said
Yeah.
she didn't hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I have. She said he didn't hear him say anything. She doesn't know where he got the gun, but remember I said earlier when he was like, I'm from Canada, he motioned to the middle console.
Yes.
She said earlier he motioned to the middle console. All right. Meg limped to the driveway. Kelsey said her instinct was to protect her friend. She ran to her and Meg grabbed her and she saw blood. Kelsey said she was in defense mode. Tori is approaching them and Kelsey thinks he's coming to attack us. She steps in between him and Meg. Tori then assaulted Kelsey. She said it was a painful altercation. Quan said, Kelsey, they do this all the time. Kelsey is still in defense mode, protection mode. Her reaction was to cause a distraction. She said she ran and jumped in the vehicle and made it dirt.
Mm-hmm.
She said it did exactly what I needed it to do, get Tori from Megan. Tori started pulling her by her hair and neck before she was only in defense mode, but then she became afraid for her life. She said she went flat, and at some point she said, Tori, what are we doing? What are we doing? And that's when he let her go. At this point, she said, everyone is back in the car. Megan was very calm. Kelsey was distraught. She starts to cry as she continues the story. That's my note. Um, we hear her sobbing while detectives get her a tissue. So, okay, this is from the audio. Megan said, Megan told Kelsey, call Ferris. That's her co-manager. They weren't answering the calls.
Right.
So she sent a text. Tori shot Meg. That's that 4 a.m. Text. That's nobody can explain. Then Kelsey's breaking down crying again on the audio.
Right.
She said she sent a help message to her mom on Facebook Messenger. She says she was mentally and physically hurt, and we can hear her continue to cry. She said she made a call to a guy she was talking to at the time. She said, hey, I need to talk. I need someone to stay on the phone with me. And at this point, she said Megan had her leg on her. She still didn't know Megan was shot in her feet. She said they're all still driving, and then they hear sirens and helicopters. Tori starts saying things like, please don't say anything. I'll give you guys $1 million each. Megan was like, huh? Megan didn't seem upset, which was confusing Kelsey because she was distraught. They had to get out of the car. She asked the female officer not to put a knee in her back. Oh my God. They asked her about injuries. She was just worried about Megan. Ferris arrives, and by that time, they put her in the ambulance. Okay, I didn't know Ferris got there that night. Kelsey was taken to jail. Officers interviewed her and she asked for a lawyer.
Oh,
She
he
was
got. I think
released.
he met them at the hospital. He met Megan
Yeah.
at the.
Okay. She said she was released about 4 hours later. She was released with Quan. Quan made a comment outside the jail that said money talks. Quan said Tory's just trying to protect you. She said protect her from what? He said you'll find out later. She said everybody's been playing mind games with her. Kelsey asked if she could see Megan. She was told only one person at a time. That's by that time they were in the hospital. So anyway, that's where we are. I see. God is back.
Can you hear me?
Me and Miss have been trying to hold it down, waiting for you to come back.
You were doing it, girl. Thank you so much. Girl, I don't know what that has never happened before. I just froze. My laptop just froze completely. So anyway, yeah, I'm here. I was listening to some of it.
It's me.
So I have somebody in the
Missing
chat.
and Wayne holding it down.
I know. I had called Wayne, and thank you, Love Queen, as well.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Love Queen.
C Fresh 1000 in the chat.
And Ray.
C Fresh 1000 in the chat says my little bro got hit in the foot, and it looked like Megan, an exit wound, close range, no bullet, but he had fragments and a hole. Yeah, it is possible because a foot injury is not. It's just obviously complicated. The surgeon testified. He was the chief of surgery at of Cedars-Sinai, which is like a very reputable hospital. Come on now. Okay, let me you were just reading. I heard some of that, but
that was my notes from when we were sitting in the audience listening.
Yeah.
So, and that's when I remember, like, it was so somber in there because we heard this girl crying, and it just seemed like she was just, it was like a movie. It was so real.
Right. Okay. It definitely was something they'll never forget.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yes, please like this video. Appreciate y'all. Okay, we were down to the last fact check on this bullshit. But Megan's own timeline and injuries don't match the story of a shooting, is what the last bullet point says. Megan's own timeline and injuries don't match the story. This is stupid. Would this actually affect the appeals panel or panel of judges? If you think they would look at this and say, you know what, he is innocent.
No, it's literally, I think Mitson just said it properly in the very beginning. This is to keep his name alive. This is to make sure that he it's about his career.
Right.
And I think it's fantastic for him. It's unfortunate and unfair for Megan.
It definitely is.
But yeah, there's no way that they think that this is legally legitimate. And you can tell by what is it? Hold on, go back, Goddess. Real quick. I'm gonna tell you how you can tell the owner of the gun has been sealed and has never been determined. Like, that is just, again, just some nonsensicality. It makes no sense.
Some nonsense.
I still don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because it means nothing.
It means nothing. It's just words.
But you know what it means?
Right.
It does mean something to people who want it to be true. This is
right.
I'm getting.
Absolutely.
They're hanging on to every little thread and they're making it into a quilt. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh man, that was poetic. Okay. Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
So Alex Spiro, Megan's I guess he's a representative. He didn't represent her in this was the state.
He's a personal lawyer, yeah.
Her personal Rock Nation, her
Rock
label,
Nation, yeah.
Lawyer. But he made a statement, and he also did a slide presentation. But the statement says Tory Lanez team can't keep a story straight. Last week, they argued that Kelsey Harris shot Megan. Now they're claiming that Megan only stepped on glass. They continue to rehash old evidence from trial and repackage it as new information to desperately sway public opinion. There was no new evidence displayed today, simply a sad attempt from Tory's team to copy our presentation format to peddle misinformation. It's embarrassing that Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is, what is this? Get out
Her
of here.
whole name.
What? Get out my screen. Oh, I have to pick a thing. Okay.
I thought you were finding something. Like, okay.
Some things popping up. Anna Paulina Luna is integrating herself into the California criminal justice system for clickbait. Instead, she should be focusing on serving her own constituents in Florida rather than chasing celebrities.
Oh, wow,
Boom,
Spiro.
boom, bop, boom, bop, bam. Okay. There's also a 31-page slide presentation, which I'm not going to go through 31 pages, but I do want to point out a couple things. But, you know, what they said is I agree with that. I mean, is there anybody who doesn't here, at least? You guys think, you know, what is your true feelings? Because Afi, you know, I know you didn't want my title, because I was going to put this title, Debunking Tory Lanez Innocence.
No, I heard you say we debunking it anyway. I listened to the last live, darling. She didn't want me to say debunking. That's what we're gonna do. I got you.
I said Afi wants to be neutral, but Afi's a lawyer. I get it. I mean, you have your mindset. You know, you come from. Listen,
she has to be fair to the court.
Yes, she comes from neutrality, fairness. Like we can't, you know, but you know, I'm over here acting a fool. I mean, that's just what I do.
Right.
That's what I do. So, and that's why I'll have you here, because I like you guys each have a different way of sharing your insight and perspective, and I respect it. I really do. So, yeah, I figured you probably heard me. But you already knew. You just didn't want the title to reflect, which is smart actually, because some people might turn off to it. You know, it's good to keep it neutral, you know, draw them in here and then hit them over the head with the debunks. Okay.
Give them the facts. Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Yeah. Okay. What is Megan Cuniff saying here? You should also be aware that Alex Spiro, Megan's lawyer and or counsel for Rock Nation, have launched an investigation into Kelsey having been compromised, bribed, or threatened. Oh, Sean Hawley, when she quit as Tory's lawyer. Oh, what is this?
Oh, yeah, that's from 2023. Yeah, her emails.
Oh, yeah, 2020, December 18, 2022. Okay, this is the email that his lawyer, Tory's lawyer, sent. Let me just read this a quick. Tory, I am writing to let you know that tomorrow morning I am going to file a motion to withdraw as one of your attorneys of record. I will file it under seal, so it will not be a part of the official court file of record. And accordingly, the media will have no reason to suspect that my role has in any way changed from working behind the scenes because of a scheduling conflict, which is what they were telling us the whole time. As you know, the evidence was elicited last week. Yeah. She said that the evidence was elicited last week, both when Kelsey was on the stand and later when her September interview was played, that I somehow involved in facilitating an arrangement between you and she, whereby you would finance her business or something like that in order to curry favor with her, thereby aligning your and her interests as far as the case was concerned. You and I both know that this never happened. Oh, yeah, they were saying Lauren, the Sean Hawley was part of that. I remember that. Yeah.
I'm sending you the article that where Megan Cuniff wrote complete.
Sean was swift in her response. I love it.
Yeah. She said, I'm not accusing you of actually saying that to her. She may have made this up herself. I don't know. All I do know that this did not happen, nor would it ever happen. To emphasize the point, you may recall that once the criminal case was filed against you, I stopped engaging in all discussion with her civil lawyer about the prospect of your paying her medical bills for the injuries she claimed to have suffered the night of the incident. For me to continue those discussions once you were charged criminally and she became a potential witness in the case would have been unethical. So I immediately stopped all discussion with him on that topic. In any event, The fact that these false allegations have been made about me and that they are now evidence in the case makes it a conflict as an ethical/legal matter for me to continue to represent you. And as a result, I am obligated to withdraw as your attorney. You should also be aware that Alex Spiro, Megan's lawyer and or counsel for Rock Nation, have launched an investigation into Kelsey having been being compromised, bribed, or threatened. Mr. Spiro is requesting that I and George and Kelsey's lawyer maintain and preserve all communications which might be relevant to this matter. We will not give in to his demands, and we find them improper. But that is a subject for another day. The point is, the question of her having been bribed is apparently not going away, and her interview claiming that I was a part of this alleged bribery scheme is a part of their investigation. Anyway, it is probably best that I also withdraw from representing you in the Alsina matter. As you know, we have a date scheduled for mediation in February in that case. I will contact the mediator's office and see if we can cancel the mediation. If not, I will speak with Paul about getting you excellent civil counsel to take over your representation in that matter. If you have any questions, blah, blah, blah. Wow. So that says a lot right there, because I didn't know. So Kelsey, they were civilly arranging him to pay her medical bills because he damaged her. He injured her.
Right.
This says it right here. They were already talking about him paying for her medical bills because of what he did. And then August Alsina, whatever happened with that? Does anybody know?
Can we stay on the fact that he was paying her? They were making arrangements to pay her medical bills. But do you remember in the statement, or I don't know if it was a statement or her testimony at trial, she said that she had like patches of hair missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, can you not hear us?
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay, I can hear you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely. So this corroborates.
That's crazy. I didn't read that.
Yeah.
The only letter I remember that Holly sent was her talking about, the strategy you guys want to use blaming Kelsey won't work.
That's all we got. But
wow,
there was obviously much more to it. And that actually corroborates the fact that he fucked her up. He beat that girl up. He hurt that girl, pulled that girl's hair out of her scalp. Those pictures were traumatizing.
Yep.
I can't even imagine how it felt and to be her. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
hopefully seeing your best friend get shot like that.
There's that. Yeah. There's definitely that. I mean, that's crazy. So where is Kelsey? Has anybody heard from her with regard to any of this? This new stuff going on?
No, I haven't seen anything.
I don't think she's said anything in regards to anything lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Joe Budden said something a while back that she responded to. But I haven't heard anything from her recently. So
what is this? An exhausted and tired Alex Spiro looks like he's on his last leg trying to defend Meg. Let me see what this is.
Oh, that academics.
I was surprised that this Cuomo guy jumped on the bandwagon as well.
Oh, he's
reluctant to.
That was so interesting.
But this is Fox News. So what I've seen is that I looked at all the people that I've seen being outspoken about this in Tory's favor, and they're all Republicans.
Yes.
And connected as well. Like the lady said, we know Amber Rose is a Trumper, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so is that Anna lady.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's some money behind this too. And the Unite the People is that advocacy group representing Tory.
Mm-hmm.
They were also representing Milagro Grams and the Megan.
They were. Yeah.
And they dropped her.
Did a lot of her fundraising, and she appealed to a lot of MAGA type people or conservative type people.
Oh, really? Well, they just dropped her, saying that they're facing bankruptcy, which was interesting.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, what? Wait, the people, Unite the People, they're facing bankruptcy?
That's what they said. Let me see if I can have that. But yeah.
So they no longer represent Milagro? What?
They dropped her. Yep.
They did.
I think
because she couldn't pay them. I think
They said it was
I don't remember hearing
No.
about the bankruptcy, but I do remember hearing about her not paying them, and that's why they couldn't continue. To
Yeah, I
represent.
definitely saw that, and I've saved it. Let me see. Did I screenshot it? I know I have it somewhere, but let me play this real quick, and I'm gonna look for that. But
This now very public campaign to say Tory Lanez was framed.
Yeah, Chris, I'm reluctant to give any attention or oxygen to this nonsense. It's gotten to the point where I felt I needed to clear this up. And given the history of domestic violence against women in this country and across the world, and given what's happening here, I think I have an obligation to Meg and others. The reality is he was convicted by a jury of his peers based on overwhelming evidence. The evidence in this case is basically as strong as it could possibly be. He was found at the scene with the firearm that shot her. The shell casings matched the gun. He confessed. She says he did it. The eyewitness says he did it. There was never any dispute or doubt in this case, which is why he was convicted so quickly. So the rest of this is nonsense, but I deal with it in turn.
nonsense. The word of the day.
Yep. Tap your neighbor and say nonsense.
Nonsense.
Okay, so there's that. And then I wanted to show this real quick because this is just to me an example of it, poor Meg. Like
Having
show
to
you
relive
something.
all this all over again.
All right, let me show you guys something real quick. This is just a 2-minute and 55-second video by Morbid Melon.
You tried to off me. Hey. Yeah, but that's in the past, though. I got a whole sacrifice lined up today.
This
so just
is mean.
mouth shut. I got you. Dad? Tory? You awake? Oh, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. We thought we almost lost you there, my boy. I almost died? Yes, they about killed you, boy. This had to be Jay. I know it was. We gonna take him down, Dad. Now, hold on there, Tory. Now, the Bible says we must forgive. Also, I reached out to Jay's Masonic Lodge. Know what they said? What do you say? Jay says it's water under the bridge. See, Tory, I take care of things. I don't trust it, man. I told you. I done took care of it. Give me a second, boy. Been holding this piss all damn night waiting for your ass to wake up.
It's all over, everybody. Monique tried to warn me.
Mr. Lanez, something came for you.
I seen that bottle before, back when I was doing my NFT thing. I know who it is. It's all right. Go ahead, put it down on the table.
But I just couldn't help myself. She got me, y'all. She done got me. The sweet.
Oh my God.
They got me. I swear they did.
Damn, this nurse thick as hell. Excuse me, nurse, what's that?
This is just a muscle relaxer. It's gonna help you sleep.
Nah, I just woke up. I ain't trying to go back to sleep.
Nigga, you gonna take these meds, put your ass to sleep for life.
What?
Nigga, I ain't going to jail.
Megan, hell no. Get this shit off me. Tory, what's going on in here? This bitch trying to kill me again, Dad. Hell no, bitch. Step on her bad foot. The one she said I shot, remember? Step on that shit. This one's for Oprah and all them damn bitches who ain't believe in my son Tory. Take this with you, bitch. Hallelujah.
Yo, you get that done?
Sorry, but she can't come to the phone right now. Oh, and Jay, we coming for you.
Oh, shit.
Crazy.
Thank you.
What did I just watch?
You just watched a conspiracy theory.
I know what I watched.
In the cartoon form.
Oh God.
Off the internet. And that's what I'm saying, is that this is the type of stuff that she can't get on the internet. I mean, as far as I know, you got to stay just with your friends and family and leave everybody else alone, because this is crazy. This is what people are saying.
Yeah.
It was Rock Nation. Just like the daddy said, he went Didn't he have a whole episode in court? What was that during the sentencing? I mean, the conviction.
Conviction, yes.
Yeah, the
Outside
conviction.
court, yeah.
He had a whole outburst. It was a whole mess, child. It was a movie.
Okay,
honestly.
so y'all were there. Y'all witnessed that firsthand. What were your thoughts about that whole?
Clutching my pearls.
I mean, I'm not mad at him for it. Like that's his son.
Yeah.
It was frightening, but look, I've been in because you just didn't know what was gonna happen in court. But you see crazy stuff in court all the time.
But we're talking to a lawyer who's in court a lot. I mean, you've been in court a lot. For me, this lay person over here who was not expecting any of that. Like, I was like, what is happening? Get me out of here right now. Like, at the same time, taking notes so I could go live and tell everybody what I just saw.
Right.
But I thought that was crazy. And then after the fact, I just remember some stuff going on in the hallway after too. There was a lot going on. There was a lot happening. Oh yeah, because little Jazz got approached. Something was going on with her. I had to step in on something. I can't remember if that was that last day or a different day.
Boy, that was a time. That was a time down there.
It was a time, child. So at this point, where are we at? We know that Megan, let's see, I have something that she's got to push forward. She doesn't have a choice.
Right. I read that she's partnering with the animator, the producer of Boondocks.
Yes, I saw that as well.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime. So that's coming soon. So I was very happy to see that for her.
Yes. So she launched a swim line, I think, or she was on the runway for her swim line here. And showing everybody, showing everybody why Tory mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by the way, do you see the muscle definition on those thighs?
Like, she's been working out.
Oh yeah, she has motivation too.
Yeah, she does.
Because I definitely, girl.
And people keep saying that she gets lipo and surgery, and we don't know what these people get or don't get, but at the same time, it is her coping mechanism to work out, and she's got a lot of frustration to work out. So I can easily see all of that being just from her own, taking care of herself and working out.
So, right, a lot of steam to let off.
Exactly. Yeah.
A couple of these comments, she stayed winning and y'all mad about it. She got the body, so go off. Y'all can never make me hate her. Her body is amazing. Meg lifts, you can see it. Yeah, I like that she has some support, because I swear I don't never see it. I mean, it's hard to find. It seems like I don't know, the Free Tory campaign.
The Free Tory movement is the biggest. It feels like it's just really loud on the internet.
It is, and it's getting louder. And
in our culture and on so many of our platforms, and it's like, and even the reporting. Like, I really wish that a lot of the reporting would contextualize all of this and I forgot to say this earlier. I don't work specifically in the domestic violence program anymore, but I've worked with a lot of survivors of domestic violence and assault and other forms of trauma. And so that was one of the big reasons, as a mental health professional, working with this, that was one of the big reasons why I was so enamored with this trial and so obsessed with this trial, because of just the harassment and the, what do we call it? DARVO, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. That's one of the classic things that abusers will do to the people that they harm, to make themselves look like the victim. And everything about from the time that the shooting happened to, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to remember to use YouTube sensitive words.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not monetized over here, so
okay, all right,
it's okay.
Cool. But, from the time that the shooting happened, it's just been relentless DARVO from Tory's side, and all the male podcasters and streamers and And too many of the women have been loud and wrong on that side, and it's just been really disheartening. So
what is your take on mental health? As a mental health professional.
Well, she said that she has been in really dark places, and she has had thoughts of wanting to harm herself and needed treatment and therapy. I hope she still has therapy and some sort of mental health support right now, because I don't know how she could function without that. But and I also believe that I'm not the biggest in terms of knowing about ancestral veneration and all that type of spirituality, but I do believe Megan has some strong ancestors that really look out for her. I think that she has just been put through the ringer, and I understand why she's been to such dark places because of so much of the stuff on the internet. And I pray that she stays off of social media. Which, by the way, we did not talk about her response. What was that? Just earlier this week or last week, where she posted that statement on TikTok where she called Tory a demon.
Who did? Megan?
Megan, yes.
I don't think I saw that.
I'll send you that.
Wait, let me go on TikTok and search that up real quick. Hold on.
I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did the extensive response from Shapiro, because initially their response was like, it was so it was weak. That's the only way I can describe it. It was like a sentence like, oh, this has been decided in a court of law, and they came back and made their decision. It's put to bed. But that was it. I was like, that's not good enough, buddy.
Right. And I'm as much as I am not a fan of a lot of these platforms and the celebrity gossip blogs and stuff like that, I appreciated that they went to the shade room. I appreciate that they are going on these platforms to say, hey, this is what the facts are. So please, so you can hear it directly from them, and people can make their own decisions about it. Okay, you found it. I was just about to send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. She says,
yeah, go ahead.
May 19th. Yeah. Okay. Yes. She said, at what point are y'all gonna stop making me have to relive being shot by Tory? She put in caps. At what point are Tory and y'all fans gonna stop lying? Like, how much is the check to keep harassing me? Why is this happening every day? 1 minute y'all said I was never shot. Now y'all letting him play in y'all face again and say I was shot, but it wasn't him. Oh, okay. I'm sick of this shit. Leave me alone. He ain't dare get on that stand and deny he shot me, and that was his choice because he knows he did that shit. I don't give a fuck about a blog or a bot. Why in the F would me, Megan Thee Stallion, have to lie on this MF about shooting me? How y'all mad at the person that got shot? Facts are facts. He did it. It was proven in court. F the hate campaign on the internet. Tory, you shot me. Ain't no new effing evidence. Y'all been saying the same shit for years. Tory, please leave me alone. You are an effing demon. I'm off this silly ass internet shit. Bye.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That broke my heart when I read that, because it's just like, y'all continuously, and people have been talking about her alongside Cassie and Halle Bailey, because they've been going through their, different things about their abuse histories have been coming out around the same time, the Diddy trial, and then Halle with her restraining order against DDG.
Right.
And it's just so disheartening to see so many people disparage Black women this way. We saw it with Keke Palmer when she filed her paperwork against her child's father. It's just way too much. And but I'm glad that, at least the image that she's presenting to us, that she's showing, you know, hey, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I just hope that she has the support that she needs behind the scenes to get through this.
Absolutely. Well said. I'm just glad that her response, that fiery response, I think I saw that. I just didn't, you know, I was probably dealing with the Diddy stuff, but
Oh yeah,
her response says to me that she's not standing down. You know, she's still pushing forward, and she still, you know, is doing her thing, as we can see. I just know that behind the scenes, it's probably a lot different. You know, I'm pretty sure it's a different
I would be
story.
curious if they were to do a part 2 of that documentary, because you know, because you could do it just on this topic alone.
Absolutely, deservingly so. Yeah, she should do a part 2 as a, you know, the backlash and this BS campaign, Free Tory campaign that's happening is deserving, because especially being that he was poking the pokey. You know, there were a lot of different stories about that at first, but then the one final one that I saw was the guy saying that he had heard a rumor that Tory had put something on his head, so he wanted to get ahead of it and get to him first. And you know, people are like, no, that can't be true because Tory's such a good guy and this and that. But the Tory we know, I don't see him getting so docile.
Wasn't there a story about how Tory was supposedly flirting with the man's wife?
That was one of the stories, that he was flirting with the guy's wife and visiting. But then there was been a couple. The last one I saw was the guy speaking. I believe it was him.
Yeah, he talked to the Shade Room.
Yeah, I was gonna play it, but the volume is so low.
TMZ, not the Shade Room.
Okay, the volume's too low. I have it, but the volume's so low on it. But regardless, my thing is with Tory is that he has shown us, like, he should have been out this country a long time ago, with all the, even though I guess because he was never convicted of anything, he didn't have a record, but his behavior, like, that's the thing. He should have been. Why wasn't he ever arrested or processed for some of the things? Because the August Alsina thing, for instance, you know, that was a civil thing.
Was he arrested? Oh, he wasn't arrested for that, but that's what got him put on house arrest right before the trial.
So he was on house. I don't think I knew he was on house arrest.
Yes,
before the trial.
He was doing a show while he was out there in Chicago, because the incident with August Alsina happened in Chicago. And I think, I don't know if police arrested him or not, but they deferred it back to LA because the case was going on here. And then the judge was like, then the prosecutor was like, he needs to be detained. And I think they wanted him to be in jail up until the trial happened, but the judge compromised and gave him house arrest.
Okay. So. Well, we definitely know money talks. It's unfortunate. And Afi, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have experience? I don't want to put you on the, I'm not trying to say you've taken bribes, but like, you know, what do you say? Like, have you been approached? Like, I'm just curious as to how does this work? Like, how do people get away with stuff? Like, look, even Diddy, like, we heard about some evidence being the fingerprint cards being destroyed in the Kid Cudi situation, and LAPD looking funny. You know what I'm saying? And how does that is this something that is common in the law, legal, you know, in the legal arena?
What things going missing? I will say that I don't know. I don't know in LA. LA has an interesting reputation. I don't know it. I can't speak to that in LA specifically, but
yeah,
I know every jurisdiction is different. Every little city, every little town is different.
I'm pretty sure LA is heightened when it comes to that, just because of the celebrity culture. And, you know, I'm pretty sure these people have hands out when it comes to stuff like this.
Yeah.
Look the other way, you know. And Tory, you know, he's said to be a charming guy. He knows how to turn it on when he needs to. And he throws money around, clearly.
Right.
So, yeah, I can see that. I think, let me come to the chat real quick before we wrap this up. And you guys have any last thoughts or words?
feel like there was something about the whole MAGA connection, because I've been seeing this brewing for a while, because I remember during the election or during the campaign right up until this last presidential election, I remember Aiden Ross hosted Trump on his stream. And I saw a clip where he did tell Trump about Tory Lanez. And I was just like, okay, this Tory Lanez support in this MAGA movement merger, I had sensed that there was going to be more of a strong visible connection. And then that told me, okay, it's coming. And now with this whole, the journalist that went on Fox News, this congresswoman that came out in support of him, Amber Rose speaking out. And it's very interesting, the timing of it all. And so as somebody who's also follows politics, I'm very interested to see how this plays out. And I'm just, Tommy Lauren was speaking on this also.
Are you serious?
Yes. Just a couple of days ago, I saw she posted a video about it. So I haven't gone to see what she said yet. But yeah, it's coming. And I'm just like, great. I'm going to be that much more annoyed as if I could be any more annoyed by Tory supporters or by the MAGA movement. This is just going to be a big mess. So we got to
haven't heard her name in a while.
And be prepared to disseminate the real information. And also, this whole narrative about Black men, not supporting Kamala or not voting Democrat along with the majority of Black women. It was 80%. So the majority of Black men still voted for Kamala Harris along with 90% or 93% or whatever it was of Black women. It's just that they're able to find those pockets of support where they can shave it off. So if we can stay vigilant to, just give the right information and show how this narrative is also part of MAGA's manipulation to stay in power, I think that would really serve us well. So that's all I want to say about that.
Okay. Afi? Any last thoughts or words here?
It was good to be on here.
Thank you for coming.
I like your family. Your people are really good people. It's good
I
talking
have
to
more
you again.
people. Yeah, more people.
I'm just
coming
so
to
glad that
replay.
we were able to go over what we know to be true and to, as you say, debunk some of these stories that are going on out here. That's about all I've got.
It definitely felt good to get it off my chest.
I'm really happy.
Yes. Oh, good. I'm glad. So thank you both for joining.
Yeah, no dramatic closing for me. I don't know.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments in the chat. I have to go back some. They might have been things touched on.
I don't know if y'all can hear me. I can't hear anything.
You can't hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Mitson. I can hear both of you.
Okay.
I'm just going to read some of the chat and then, Love Queen said, yes.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. No, we can hear you. We can hear you. I heard your closing. You said no big dramatic closing for you.
No, I wish I had something.
No, you're good. You contributed. You
gave us all the legal facts.
You did your job. Okay.
Yeah.
You came and did what you were supposed to do.
All right, I'm gonna hit that mute now. Here we go.
What is it? What did I say? The assignment, the assignment, check. Okay. So Love Queen said, I feel like Megan's life is in harm's way and I pray she's covered. Yeah. People are mad at Megan.
They really are.
Really
they hate
angry.
her so much.
They do hate her. I noticed
the comments were turned off on her on that post on TikTok that you showed. So it's like, because people are just really nasty about, in the comments about her.
I didn't even look at the comments. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna look at them then.
Yeah, no.
She said Megan's ancestors should visit Tory around 3 a.m. and get the message across.
Oh,
not the ancestors. She said I should pull the tarot cards out on these people. You know what? And you know, my channel, when I first started, and that's all I did was do tarot and only show my hands. It took over it was the R. Kelly stuff. So it was like it went crazy. I got my first 1,000 subscribers in 1 week. I probably should have stayed with doing that. I probably
might be time to resurrect it.
Stuck to the card. You know, I haven't put. I kind of put my cards down, honestly, because my meditation, I don't really need the cards anymore. And I felt like too, people wanted the cards all the time. It became a addiction for some people. They would DM me, can I get a reading for? It was like, and they weren't paying me. I'm like, listen, if you,
that's not how this works.
Me every other day. Yeah, I can't do this. It was burning out. It was a burnout, right?
Like, pay Black women, y'all, for our labor. Please do that.
I'm like, I can't do this no more. And then also, like I said, I started leaning more on my meditation, and I get my answers there straight from the source. So, but for fun, I might do that.
It'd be interesting to see what comes out.
It would be. Shamina, right? I feel so bad for Meg. Yeah, Meg definitely gets my sympathy. And hopefully I'm just hoping this kind of blows over. I don't know what's going to happen or what the status of the appeal. I would love to know where the appeal process.
I feel like this is probably going to, unless Tory is put away for something different or he gets deported or something else big happens, I feel like this is going to continue to crop up and she's going to have to keep dealing with this.
But do you think he's going to do his full sentence?
I mean, he's not doing himself any favors.
Well, that's
by
true.
Continuing this publicity campaign.
That's exactly what it is. It's a publicity campaign. I don't think I do think he's going to do his full sentence. He'll get some good time. So he won't. It was calculated. I forgot. Is it 10 years? But with good time, he can get out in like 6 and a quarter, something like that.
Something like that. And also, but also the judge gave him credit for the time he had already spent in jail, plus the house arrest.
Okay. So he only has a couple more years then.
It's a few more years, and then he'll be deported.
2029 is when he's eligible for parole.
So it's 4 years. So yeah,
and deportation is on the books for him, right?
Right.
Good.
So that's after he gets out, then they'll have to deal with the immigration court.
Yeah.
Ray said the Republican Party is always on some shit that ultimately hurts our community.
Exactly.
Them having their hands on the wrong side of these in the wrong side of these trials is sickening. On the wrong side of the trial. Right. It is sickening. And you're right. I agree with that. I mean, there's some things, because I was kind of like, am I being too connected to anti-republicanism? I mean, just because that's been my whole life, that's all I've heard. And, I mean, that's just been it. But I don't know.
I think that's warranted. And to be fair, I don't bill myself as a political expert, or I'm definitely not a political strategist or anything like this. I'm just kind of a junkie for it. But and I'm very unhappy with a lot that has gone on in the Democratic Party for quite some time. So I'm not here enthusiastically saying, Democrat all the way every time. However, this one party, the Republican Party, has had a proven track record of doing things that explicitly harm our people, that explicitly harm the immigrant community, that explicitly harm the LGBTQ community, that explicitly harm the most vulnerable in our society. And there's other politicians who haven't done enough to stop it. But that doesn't negate the fact that there's so much explicit harm and so much of these schemes and games that to manipulate us and to turn us against each other. So I keep that in mind, and I just pray that I think ultimately we do have to get rid of this two-party system, or break it up, or invite other political parties into the more dominant narrative, so that we don't have to have such a split on cultural issues in this way. But it's just wild. So
Yeah, there's definitely change is needed for sure.
yes.
But you know, you just said something about the divisiveness that it causes. And I'm looking at this situation and I'm like, you know what? That's also because I feel like before they came out with this whole free tour, these Congress people and these Fox News people, that there was a roundtable discussion. There was some type of this is an agenda. And
oh, it definitely is.
I feel like the divisiveness is they're like, yeah, and this will get them fighting, because they already saw it. So they're, by them doing this, is it just enhancing the
and they
divisiveness.
know that there are so many Black men of all ages, but especially younger Black men who are so disaffected by,
The system. Yeah.
the ways that they feel that, more attention to women's rights and to the queer community's rights have taken away from them. And so they're exploiting those frustrations, not with real legitimate solutions, not with real empowerment for Black men, but just they're exploiting it with ways to, get out messages to divide us more. And that's what I definitely want to help to fight against.
Right. Well, keep doing your thing, girl.
Yeah.
Ray said I was on Goddess's Live when she reported on the dad's reaction.
Oh,
I see where Tory got it from.
That is a great point,
yeah. He's nuts just like his damn daddy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, definitely.
Yes, Shamina. I'm from Louisiana, so yes, I'm definitely
my people too. Shamina said, here in Texas, we love Meg. Yes. Love Queen said Meg's still in her 20s and she lost her parents, grandparents, and she's the only child. I can only imagine. Dang.
Yeah. She actually turned 40. I mean, 30 in February. So she's
did she? Okay.
Yeah.
Dirty 30. Let's see. I don't want to hatchet this name.
If she gets a hold of that branding, can you imagine? We're all she's never going to let that go.
I know.
She gets a hold of that as part of her brand. Oh.
I know. I didn't realize she was 30 though. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's lived the life of a 40-some-year-old at this point.
Oh yeah, she has. Yeah.
Diablita Beauty. I think that's right. Hopefully. My cousin was grazed by a bullet on Friday and was back at the club on Monday. And nobody questioned if he was shot.
Exactly.
Hello.
For that.
Oh my goodness.
Diablita. Yeah. An Aquarius like me.
February 14th. She's February 15th.
Yep. So you're Valentine's baby.
Yeah, she's definitely a love baby.
Cussing everyone out. Yes. Olay. I have to send you that video. Olay was so fed up.
I don't know who Olay. Who's Olay? Wait, that's why Olay was cussing everyone out.
Who Olay is. I'll send you that video right now.
Cussing everyone out on the last video on her channel. The Darbo has been so heavy. Yeah, I'm out of the loop on that. You got to let me know, get me in on that one.
She's definitely one to follow. She's a very, very good political thinker, and she also does a lot of pop culture commentary too. And she has a channel where she just does her TV and movie takes. And so
okay. Reaction video.
So yeah, she's from the Bahamas.
Oh, so this is the person you were talking about earlier, and you sent me a link, I think, right? I think you texted me a link.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I sent you the link to her articles. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, the articles. I'll look her up. Yeah, Meg called him that. He is a demon. Okay. I've been calling him that since I saw him cutting up that horse leg on his video. A whole effing demon. SMDH. Yeah, who does that? Like, seriously? Megan's gonna have good days and bad days dealing with her lifetime triggers. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Tory is a violent little man. I wasn't surprised someone shanked him. I hate to laugh at that. But most narcissists are charming Still a demon on the inside. Diddy, Trump, etc. Been fooling the public for years. Woo, child, you guys are hitting the nail on the head. Thank you. You're welcome, Love Queen. Thank you for being here and being here for 3.5 dang near hours, child. Even with the technical stuff.
Thank y'all for hanging with us.
We love y'all too. Thanks, ladies. Keep circulating the truth for sure. Yes, and got us down. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Tory's team is probably hyping him up, telling him it was a good look having Amber Rose. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Tory is a spineless little punk. Let's just call him all the names right now.
Let us down almost every time. Yes, they do. Or proves a crack. Yes. Yeah, and they know how to work together. We don't.
Yeah,
they
do link
understand how to work together.
Not Love Queen to calling Tory's dad a fake African. Oh my goodness.
Well, aren't they from wait, where are they from? Not Jamaica. Where are his people from? Somewhere in the Caribbean.
Oh,
I think is
really?
where his people are from.
Oh,
before they moved to Canada, they were from some island. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Diablita Beauty. He's like a cockroach that won't die.
He's like a roach that won't. Diablita. That is
And
diabolical
on that
there, Diablita. I see what you did there.
That is hilarious. I mean, let me not
but
say
yeah, we've been
anything.
here for a minute. And
Yeah, so on that note, yeah, I appreciate y'all. And we can't we got to do it again. It's been a long time. We you know, we've done this before. I'm gonna have to keep inviting y'all back.
Yeah, I'm here.
I appreciate you. Now, the Black Letter Law, Miss Afi Patterson Esquire at Black Letter Law is here on YouTube.
Yes.
The Black Letter Law, and as well on Instagram. Please, blackwomendaily.co, right? Is it just Black women or is it
Oh
the
my
Black
God.
women?
No, it's blackwomendaily.co. And my website is blackwomendaily.com or .org. They both
Hey
go to the
now,
same
hey
site.
now.
So,
Black Women Daily.
yes.
She does this amazing daily calendar of Black women who have done amazing things, spirit talking trailblazers, people who have made significant impact on not just community, the world. I mean, honestly. So thank you for that. I love it. Every time, every day I'm looking for that too. Because I'm like, who did something? I'm looking for some inspiration. So thank you.
Look, it's sometimes so I go by birthday, and so it's usually because I like to. I'm a big, well, not big, but I believe in like astrological signs. So I'm a Leo. So if I'm trying to find somebody, I want to find somebody who's like me. So I try to find a woman, who's born every day of the year and celebrate. But if I can't, I find something that's like a current topic. Like I found out the other day, the first Black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve Board was just appointed in 2022. But she's an amazing woman. She went to Spelman. She taught at Harvard and Michigan State. She's a Delta. So it's pretty, pretty cool and impressive. So there's a lot to learn.
Highlighting
cool. That's pretty wild that it took that long for a Black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve.
Right.
So,
Okay. Lastly, cool. Tory's dad's accent went on and off.
Yes, Love Queen.
She clocked him. All right, y'all. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Saturday night. Don't get too crazy. We see what could happen now.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Yeah, protect yourself. Protect your mental health. Do your meditations and don't fall for the misinformation.
Oh, for sure. Please don't. And I'm finna eat. I'm hungry. All right, y'all. Till next time. We're doing Diddy Court on Monday. So I'll see you there. All right. Bye.
Okay, bye.